But today was bad. Light work, people. Light work. It seems we're soft all over the pitch. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever the case is, wherever you are on this amazing world of ours, earth of us. Welcome back to the Redfellas. It's been a while since we've had the lineup that we've got in today, but I'm excited. People are saying the main men are back. Everyone's the main men on this, Hassan. Come on, you know better than that. But I think we're alluding to the fact that we've got one yank in and one yank out. Not a bad substitution again from Chris Khan again. And not a bad substitution, king of substitutions right here, boy. Mr. Blue Chip, aka Avi, aka Twat. What's happening?
Good, man. It's good to be back. I've actually missed it. Yeah, everything's good, man. Just had to tie up a few loose ends at work for the last few weeks. All done and back with you ugly mugs. So yeah, glad to be back. And the last little run in for the season, last few months to go, and it's looking good so far.
Yeah, people are saying you shouldn't. It's a red chip. You should change your red chip because you're a Liverpool fan. So no blue chip anymore.
I'll change it for the season.
And of course, I've got my. I'm gonna call Conway my lieutenant. He's my most trusted. Never lets me down. Most reliable. Maybe the Hendo. No, the Robbo. The Andrew Robertson. That's it. My very own Andrew Robertson.
That works.
What are you saying?
Yeah. No, I'm good, mate. Obviously buzzing to do the show tonight, and it was quite good with the Saturday kickoff because sometimes when we have a Sunday game, it's a bit reactive in the sense we don't really get a chance to proper dive into what happened, and the emotions are a bit raw. But obviously today, the 5:30 kickoff, I've actually been looking forward to this show all day, guys. So yeah, I'm very good and looking forward to discussing the game.
Good. And of course, I've got Big K in the building. I can't even say anything bad about him if I want to because he'll just thump me. He's that big, the Incredible Hulk, the main top red himself, the toppest of top reds, who's been doing some major propaganda on the front. No, and Sadio Mane on his Twitter line. If you guys haven't checked it out, go and check it out. Omar on Twitter. I might
Mane rampage today.
Yeah, he went on a Mane rampage. I'm not going to say if I agree or disagree with everything he said. Watch this space, but of course, Big K in the building.
Thank you very much, man. I'm not going to lie. Divided opinions, so much so that someone actually dropped into my inbox at one stage and said, I'm overdoing it a bit with Manny. He's been good since the AFCON. So that just drove me further into my threads of today. But apart from that, look, obviously, so gassed. I'm really, really happy. Can't wait to discuss this match. This was a really good football game. Really good football match.
It was. Of course, we've got Mr. MB in the building, the regular troll in the chat. People, if you don't know MB in the building, man, ignore him and relax. Have a joke with him. He's never serious. He's saying, sell Salah and Mane, too old past their best. And he will continue.
Is MB Billy?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's Mr. Anonymous, but, he's always having fun in the chat and people get worked up. First super chat, of course, Mr. Adams. He says, it ain't easy.
A boy from Canada.
Big up for you, man, though. It ain't easy indeed, Adams. It ain't easy indeed. It's brilliant because actually, before Avi slaps me on my wrist, of course, shout out to our main sponsors, our only sponsors, actually, of the Redfellas, our exclusive sponsors, EliteMe.com, for all your CBD needs. I keep telling you. The reason why I keep telling you, because I'm serious about it. I wouldn't keep telling you if I wasn't serious. By the way, Big K, you got to hit me up because I know you're in. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to, I don't need to tell you off air. I can tell you on air, live and exclusive. This is a real promotion, people, because I'm telling my own friend and brother, Big K, and he's about to order some. What are you going to order, by the way? Let the people know.
Yeah. So I'm going to probably go for the CBD oil.
Okay.
So I'm going to go for some of that. My missus takes it as well. So I'll be putting in an order soon. So you'll get a live on-air review.
There you go. And you know what Big K is going to do in it? He's going to type in LFC 15 and virtue of that, he's going to get a 15% discount because he's one of the Redfellas. And all you people in the chat, if you go to their website, eliteme.com, www.eliteme.com, and at the checkout, type in LFC 15, you'll get 15% off. anything you buy, and they do a vast array of things. Avi, I'm big on the CBD oil, but what's that thing? They vapes.
The vapes.
Yeah.
I actually haven't done the vapes myself, Chris, but the CBD bath bombs, which is an exclusive range of theirs, is incredible. The essence that comes out, it relaxes the muscles. If you're training or even cardio or weight training, it is really good. It's a good relaxer for when you go in the bath. So all those people, women, men that like bubble baths, try the CBD bomb. Really good.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So go make sure you check out eliteme.com, our amazing sponsors of the Redfellas on your Sunday night. But people, the show must go on. The title race goes on. We spoke about it, I think. Conray, I'll come to you first because we spoke about it in midweek with, we had good old Corey, the West Ham fan. And we spoke about the game and we said, look, by hook or by crook, we've got to make sure we get 3 points. And we discussed that. You guys seen the intro, right? And you know the part where I say we were soft all over?
Yeah.
That was from the West Ham game at their ground when we lost. We anticipated something totally different in terms of how we approach this, Conray. Just overall thoughts on the game. And it's very good that you pointed out that we didn't do a post-match reaction straight away, because I actually have had a bit of time to think about it, and my mind's changed on a certain few things, but we'll get into that. Just your overall feeling on how the game went and what you thought.
Yeah, overall, just raw kind of feelings towards it. I think it's a huge win in general. I think first and foremost, it's a massive result. And as I said, like I did kind of have an inclination. I thought it was going to be a cagey affair. Maybe not that tight, but I did feel like it was going to be one of those games. So overall, delighted with that. It's a massive result. I know people talk about City's game today, but I think realistically, we all knew City were going to beat United comfortably. I think the games we're looking at is like the Palace away. Certain games like that, I feel like it'll be the interesting ones with Manchester City. So I think that was a huge result for us yesterday. On the balance of the way it went, I feel like we'll talk about each event. I think we started the game pretty well, and I know I will break down the tactics for that, and I was pretty happy with that, the start. And then the way the kind of game ebbed on, for me, I know we'll have different opinions on different players. For me, it felt like you could see the games we played in that second half. And that's not always an excuse, by the way, but I felt like if you're looking at catalysts or reasons for that, I felt that was maybe the reason we weren't on it as much defensively with our pressing and stuff like that. So that was what kind of just summarised feelings. I don't want to go too much because I know we'll do the incidents, but overall, delighted. And I feel like it was a few people stepped up as well who maybe aren't necessarily the favourites. I.e. your Jones, your Keita, we'll get into that. But really, that was a day that showed how good our squad is, if you know what I mean, if them stepping up and coming on. So, yeah, delighted with the result.
It's good that Conroy mentioned squad. Keith, I'll come to you because, again, we haven't touched on how many games have we spoken about sort of squad depth and the rotation and the constant changing. But now it's not a constant changing because of injuries. Well, one or two injuries. Obviously, Bobby out and Thiago out. I think they're the only two out, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of injuries. But it's more rotation because of squad depth, keeping it fresh, keeping everyone on their toes type thing. So you had the likes of Jota on the bench this time round. You had the likes of Curtis Jones to the bench, Elliott to the bench. Looking at that lineup, would you pretty much standard? This is the standard lineup you expected, or did you expect Jota to start maybe or anything like that?
I actually thought this was a really good lineup. I think Jota, he definitely is carrying something or something of a niggle. Has looked quite sharp since he's had his time off with the cameos he's made. It would be unfair to keep Diaz out of this team at the moment, in my opinion. So when I saw that first 11, the one that stood out to me the most was that I thought this was a proper Barclays game for Konate versus Antonio. I was very, very, very looking forward to that because there's a lot of theories to suggest that maybe Matip didn't have the best of times when we played away at West Ham, dealing with that second ball physicality, and Antonio kind of, he turns any lost cause into a phase of play. So that's what I was really looking forward to when I saw that 11. And it's interesting we talk about squad depth because I was always of the opinion that, and it's nice actually to hear that Jurgen Klopp kind of admitted it as well, to say that, look, when we won the league, when we went on the run with the Champions League and fought City to the end, you know, he said, I played Firmino, Mane and Salah pretty much every single game. But if Liverpool are going to go after the amount of trophies they are going after, he needs to rotate. And that's the first time I've ever really heard him admit, I do need to rotate. And it shows because, you know, we're playing Klopp roulette now. We've never played Klopp roulette before. Before we kind of knew the 11 before it was even come out. Now it's anybody's guess. So it makes it exciting to see what comes out. But this is one of my favorite 11s on paper at the moment.
Avi, Keith makes a tremendous point. It's true. We've never been in this position where we don't know 3 or 4 players. Like, we've always known 9, 10 of the players that we're going to start. If not, sometimes usually all 11. Like, you know, eyes closed, we could always tell the front 3, the back 4, and then maybe a change in midfield. But he's right. He's right. This time round, it's like team predictions the night before. We have a laugh, don't we, in our WhatsApp groups trying to predict our team predictions. But this time it's total different. And it's refreshing to hear Klopp accept, I don't know if accept's the right word, but sort of acknowledge that there needs to be rotation and freshness, like Keith says, especially in the front positions. Are you feeling that? Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, look, that word's been bandied about from minute 1 against Norwich, the first game of the season. Squad depth, whether we had it, I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. Squad depth, whether we had it or not. And just a few additions. Look, Harvey Elliott being promoted to the first team, you know, not being sent out on loan again, you know, had a good preseason, and Klopp said, I'm going to stick with him. You know, he's good enough to be in my first team squad. The sort of emergence of Jones even further this season, you know, being trusted in big games, you know, played against Man City at home, or give it, you know, albeit that we had a few injuries like Thiago. But players that have come in, Naby staying fit, you know, Ox is staying fit. Yes, his performances might not be great, but he's staying fit. You know, the introduction of obviously Luiz Diaz, bringing that depth into the front line. So it's a great luxury. And I think we're seeing another facet of Klopp, another evolution that I think he accepts himself that to compete with the likes of Cities, the Chelseas, you know, you need a big squad. And now he's got it. You know, in Dortmund, he always had a squad of like a strong 15, 16. You know, at Liverpool, for the majority of the first sort of, you know, 4 or 5 years, he had a squad of like 15, 16. And arguably, he never used to rotate from his front 11. And we would say, are they getting leggy towards the end of the season? Now, you know, he's got that luxury where he can drop players and bring players in for cup competition. And we still look like full of strength. I saw the Norwich game midweek, and we still had an 11 that competed and not competed, but they played well up until the second half where Norwich came into it. But we've got that luxury now. We've got strong positions. Apart from right back, where there's not, I wouldn't say there's adequate cover, but everywhere else we've got great cover. Great cover.
West Ham, Conway. Obviously, we find out that Declan Rice. Obviously, Corey was telling us that Souček might be missing, but it turns out that Declan Rice is missing. Huge loss for them. How did you think how the way they set up? Kind of the rest was kind of anticipated, and Corey, to be fair to him, said they're going to play a 4. They turned out to be playing a 4. So just the Rice, and he also said Lanzini would come in, which was also
listen, our previews are spot on with West Ham. Let's be honest, Corey's like a top guest for it because he really does inform us, like all the guests. But Corey seems to hit the nail on the head most of the times. It's actually, he's 2 for 2, and everyone was actually not laughing, but in the pre-match, I saw a few people say like, no, they're going to put a free because they previously had. And as we discussed with Corey, they had done a free, but they'd done a 4 against Newcastle. So it wasn't like completely out of this world that they go back to 4 again. And that was the case. Obviously, Lanzini coming in. But I know we'll discuss further. It's interesting, that role, because we discussed Lanzini in Fornals, and Corey at the time had said, I do think people underrate Fornals and how he actually is, how good he is in a transition, and actually in midfield he kind of gets slept on. And I would probably agree with that, actually, because every time I watch him, he scored twice at Anfield, I think, in the past as well. So he was a good player, and you could tell
last
that
season. He scored last season in the 1-0 when they went 1-up.
Yeah, and it's like Rice is obviously a huge miss. Don't get me wrong, and we've had the debates and the transfer sagas like, listen, is Rice worth the money they're talking about? We all agree he's not, but I do think at the same time we shouldn't just dismiss. He's a very good footballer and a huge miss for them. He's had a great season, especially when they played the big games this season and the push for the Europa League and to kind of hopefully get Europa League next season. So that was a huge miss for them. However, I do feel like I'd said at the time that if you're mentioning 4-0 scoring at Anfield in the past, I do think players can step up for West Ham. And I think with someone like Moyes, who's tactically quite smart on these occasions, that I did feel that even with Rice being out, I still think they've got players who can hurt you. And I think, just to clarify, I know it wasn't the question, Grizz, I think Antonio, most times he comes to Anfield, he impresses me. I don't know if you guys agree, but he always tends to, even when he doesn't have support right next to him, I think his hold-up play is very good at kind of waiting for the support to arrive. So I just thought I'd add, I think Antonio playing well, most times he comes to Anfield, he does, and I'm always impressed by him.
Yeah, look, Antonio, as Big K says, that was the battle that he was looking forward to seeing the most, especially Konate. I suspect Konate might have started, even if Matip wasn't ill. Maybe, we don't know, obviously, but maybe I think Konate might have started anyway. By the way, lads, there's over 215 of you lot in here. There should be, according to those numbers, 200 likes, but it's not even 100 likes at the moment. So I don't know what we're doing wrong, what you don't like about us, or is it Avi? Like, why is it there?
Even I've come back for the likes. Come on, guys.
Like, I don't even know. It should be 200 likes. Like, if there's over 200 people in there, but so just press that like button. But Keith, is that the battle that you was looking forward to most seeing? Most certainly for me, that was going to be the danger, wasn't it? The way they sort of play into Antonio and how they set up in midfield, especially without Rice, who's an absolute dynamic box to box. His partnership with Souček is obviously, everyone talks about, but it was a different way of playing because his replacement was the total opposite, near enough. A diminutive playmaker. People compare him to Coutinho and whatnot, and then suddenly he's being drafted in to play alongside Souček as almost like a Xavi type, little playmaker. So it was interesting how they set up against us, wasn't it?
Oh, very interesting. I thought Lanzini had one of the most interesting games, and maybe it was a bit easier to watch it from my perspective because obviously I didn't watch it live, so I watched the whole 90 minutes today. Which basically made my life a lot easier because I watched the game yesterday through Twitter and I can tell it was squeaky bum time. So it must have been difficult at times to watch, particularly that second half. But Lanzini impressed me more than...
Sorry, just hold the thought, guys. I just remembered I've put it on slow mode and the bots are back. So, guys, continue. Carry on, sorry.
That's cool. Yeah, no, and I felt what Lanzini was really impressive with for today. Yesterday was kind of filling in defensive gaps, right? Whether it be dealing with Liverpool playing through them, blocks, tackles. I thought for a player that had number 10 on the back of his shirt, I thought from a defensive side of things, he'd done an outstanding job. And the thing with Antonio, again, just going back to Klopp's post-match, he said something that was really interesting when he says that Antonio does things without fouling other players. So, Antonio will get the tag as, he's a physical presence, right? He's he gets around physically, bullies defenders, etc., etc. But he does it in a smart way. So he doesn't, he's not taking players out. He's not causing fouls. He's not putting his armor out. What he's doing, his anticipation of where the ball might bounce for the second ball is really, really, really interesting to see. And there was a moment in the game, for example, when he tries to knock the ball past Konate, and Konate's got the run on him, but Antonio's still got the speed to run and literally like catch up, and that's that Jamaican speed.
Just coming in on that with the Antonio, Keith. He fancies himself. He knows, like, if he gets down, or if he gets beaten in challenge, he'll come again. And there's very rare players, especially against Liverpool. Like when Van Dijk shrugs you off the ball, you can see the player's demeanor just sort of come down. You think, you know what, it's not going to be my day, right? Typically, 90% of the strikers in the Premiership or around Europe probably feel like that when they play Van Dijk. But like Haaland said it when he was at Salzburg, he goes, I just couldn't get the ball off Van Dijk. Like, he was his strength, his intelligence on the ball. But you look at someone like Antonio, he always, fancies himself against a Matip, at the home game at the Olympic Stadium. Even at Anfield yesterday, he fancied himself against Konate. That one ball where he tries to knock it past him and try to pace him. I mean, Konate was electric, but he actually will come again, and that's that's a big key, and he is an important player for them, and something that
sorry, go on what you said there. And adding to that, he wins. Konate's in front of him. Most strikers, if they've not won that ball, they'll kind of they tail off at the end and just let the ball clear. He actually waits to see what Konate is going to do next and bounces the ball off him to win a throw in the
and
corner.
it doesn't foul him as well, Keith. Like I think the most infuriating thing when it comes to players who do that. I think you're spot on, Keith. Just sorry to interrupt, just to add as well, I don't think it's a coincidence that Mikel Antonio and Jamie Vardy's attitudes like that for certain games, in the sense of they don't really get easily rattled, because they've not had the privilege of playing in this league for all their life. They've had to do it the hard way. Like, I think people forget Antonio literally got, I think, every club and like a lot of clubs in England. He couldn't get a team. I can't remember. I think it might be Wimbledon, but there's a good story about it. It was later in his career at right back. He started
right back at Nottingham Forest. He used to play at right back at Nottingham Forest.
He's had to do it the hard way, like, because it wasn't like academy into football. And obviously Vardy, we know the story of Vardy. I don't think that's a coincidence that certain players like that have got a much better mentality, but you quite find that they don't seem to be rattled or shook by the occasions. Like, look how many goals Vardy scored against Liverpool, or how many good performances Antonio's had. I don't think that, I know it's not directly the same point about the pressing, Keith, but I just think it's an interesting fact that they've both had that type of trajectory in their career, and they both tend to not be phased, whereas you get other players who are like big players come and they just fold. So it's just quite interesting.
Phillips was one as well, Conroy. Kevin Phillips. You know, he only made it like late in his career for Sunderland, and then when he came to the Premiership, scored goals alongside Niall Quinn.
Yeah.
So there are footballers when they come from lower leagues. It must be a mentality thing that they think, you know what, we've got that one chance, just grasp it. Ricky Lambert at Southampton. I mean, I know he had an unsuccessful
but for
Liverpool,
Premier League for Southampton.
He played for every division. You know, our very own Steve Finnan came through every division. Started off at Welling United, I think, before he made it at Fulham and then Liverpool. So it's testament to these kind of players.
Just a couple of super chats I want to get through first before we start talking about the game. Bashar, our Inter Milan fan. We're playing you Tuesday again, Bashar, so good luck. Good afternoon, Redfellas. Away fixtures favours City, unfortunately. Do you think LFC should try to concentrate to win the UCL and try their best in the Premier League? We'll come to that near the end. We'll discuss what next, but really appreciate your support and super chat, bro. Ahmed Sissoko. Hope you're not related to Ali Sissoko, one of my favourite joke.
Hey, listen, he had a good career. He was a good player. Cool.
Please don't say that to me.
He was good at Lyon. Sorry, he was good at Lyon.
What,
he might be his cousin.
I'm sorry, Grizz.
Against Stoke, yeah. But like Grizz, like you can't just say Liverpool wasn't successful, but he was a good player. Come on, he might be his cousin. He might be a family member of his.
If it's your cousin, Ahmed, I am absolutely apologetic.
That was at West Brom.
But he was the worst. He was one of the worst players I've ever seen represent Liverpool. But if he was your cousin, appreciate the super chat. Love the support. Thank you very much.
He could have walked away with the league title. Come on.
Asim Mahmood, all the way from Keith.
Big up, Asim.
Friend says, "Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you very much." And of course, we've got selection in the building, nice and early. He says, "Not sure if you guys agree, but I think we have a problem calming games down. I love Trent, but you don't need to get the ball to the forwards instantly all the time. Same with Hendo. Just hold it and chill." Selection, you know I love you, innit? Just you hold that.
He needs to calm himself,
you hold that thought.
We'll start that and talk about that later. That's a really good point. We're only 25 minutes in. We need to pace ourselves.
It is a great point, and we will discuss. We will discuss all that very later on. So look, Avi, game starts. I thought we started off okay. I thought we started off not too bad, not too shabby. Of course. With literally the first couple of minutes, Mo Salah quickly taken free kick, where we heard quickly taken, and Trent in the same sentence. Quickly taken free kick, whips it around like he does. You got to be there to see those passes. Those passes on the TV look, oh, he's just played it very quickly. But when you're at the ground, whatever, I keep saying this, the way he whips these passes around the defender has no chance. It just cuts at the defender. Mo Salah's clean through. Had you woken up by then? Because I know sometimes
I had woken up.
If you had woken up, did you expect the net to bulge like the millions and millions?
100%. I had woken up. I woke up like 30 minutes before kickoff. That chance reminds me of 1920 season with Fulham. You know when they had that offside goal given, and straight away Trent plays that ball and Salah scores exactly the same sort of direction. Obviously you fancy Salah. You know he hasn't been. It's weird because he hasn't been firing yet. He's still scoring goals. The Inter Milan goal, the goal last weekend. So I just thought, yeah, you know what, he's going to score. But credit to Fabianski because he didn't go down straight away. He stood himself up. You know, he was quite, you know, he was standing. But a situation like that, a minute and a half in, I believe, that goes in. Is it a different game? I'm not too sure if it would have been a different game because,
Whoa.
like you guys have mentioned, Moyes played a very daring team. That was a very daring team he played with Bowen, Fornells, Lanzini, Antonio Vlasic popping off from all directions. So, you know, I thought if he had scored, yes, you know, 1-0 up straight away, you know, we're on the ascendancy. But, you know, we didn't get that goal. But eventually the goal does come. I thought we were fine. The first 10, 15, we were fine. You know, I didn't think Diaz was getting a lot of the ball in the first 10. They were looking at Salah constantly. And unfortunately, the one thing that I noticed was in the first 10, 15, Trent wasn't getting in behind to whip those crosses in. He was staying back. And I think Salah was looking twice over his shoulder, you know, make that run. But instead, Salah was going and losing the ball because he didn't see the runner behind him. But yeah, if that chance goes in, Grizz, you know, it settles the nerve. I've always sort of, I think I speak for the majority of us, I've always disliked Moyes, and he's given us some tricky games as West Ham manager. You know, he's made it tough. Even in the title winning season, they made it tough at Anfield. Last season, they made it tough.
Top four with Everton when we won the Champions League. He gets top four that season as well. You know,
what an achievement that would be. Even where they are now, 5th, 6th. You know, I think last season having no fans for West Ham has helped them a lot grow as a team as well.
I think we respect him as a manager, don't we, Avi? We don't like him, but I think most people, if you understand football, I think you respect Moyes. Like, you know, he knows the game. I think anyway.
Adam says Antonio is better than CR37, as he's known as. Brilliant. So sometimes
there's too many of these acronyms now. I don't even know anymore. I know like Drifted does D9. I don't even know D9. Divakar's not got number 9. I know this is a thing now. I don't even know.
CR37 is brilliant, I think, because obviously he's known as CR7. And obviously because of his age.
No, it's good. It's good. I get that one. That's good.
I love it. I fully expected Mo to put that away, Conroy. I thought Mo started off really well. I thought he was getting the ball. He was dribbling out of tight situations. Yes, Avi's right. Trent wasn't overlapping as such. But I think Trent saw that Mo Salah had the beating of his fullback every single time in that opening 10 minutes. And that's why he thought, just let him cook. Just get the ball out to Salah. I think I felt it. And I think it looks like the players felt it. Just, okay, Mo looks in the mood today. Just get the ball out to him every single time. And just play as support roles in terms of Hendo and Trent. It kind of whimpered out, didn't it? It kind of whimpered out, that kind of Mo's impact kind of whimpered out, and then we started looking for the likes of Diaz and Robertson and you know, but that's how I felt. Did you feel the same in that opening?
Well, it's an interesting one, Grizz, because I actually had a note here before we came on to talk about like the kind of the tactics with West Ham, and I actually think West Ham, you can look at that either way. You can say Salah's performance whimpered out. We could go that, but I think there's another side of that coin as well, that I actually think West Ham's defensive structure was not great at that time. So basically they had the 4-4-2, right? But equivalently it's at 8 defending, and then you've got maybe Fornells or whoever switches with him next to Antonio. But I think the problem for the first half, or at least the first 30 minutes, was the 4 in midfield. The defence behind them was not backing them up. So they're either pressing high or the midfield's not dropping. They're not close enough together. And therefore there was lines. And I feel like certain runners like your Keitas and Henderson were breaking those lines, and there was gaps. So it meant if a Naby ran at someone, there'd be a ball on, because they really were not compact with each other, either if they're pressing higher or they're dropping deeper. And I do feel like that's, especially at the point, there's a few stills you can look at, and the ball onto Salah's on quite a lot. And it meant he obviously had opportunity to run at your Creswell, or was it Zuma on the left, or Dawson? I think Zuma on the left, or whatever. So you could tell that worked. Sorry, Avi, I just wanted to say that I feel like that improved as the game went on, maybe towards this end of the second half. And I feel like they kind of correlated. And I also think that correlated to where we get our goal from is from Naby using that where the space is, and then finding that glorious pass to Trent. So I feel like that was an interesting take from the first 30 minutes.
Just another thing on Salah, and I notice it quite a lot. When he misses a chance very early on, I'm not saying yesterday's chance was an easy one, but like a chance like that where he should be putting the ball in the back of the net, he's always trying to play catch up then. And he will do stuff that, you know,
interesting point, Avi. Hear what you're saying.
He will do stuff which, when he should be passing the ball, he will try to do something out of the ordinary to make up for that mistake. And I love that. I love that attitude. I love that, like, sort of, he's unforgiving for himself. I think that's the only detrimental thing in his game, that he always feels as if if he doesn't score, if he doesn't put us ahead when he's clean through like that, that he's trying to prove something to himself, that no, I've got to get that goal. And sometimes you've got to just, like, and I'm not saying it's a criticism of Salah, or I'm not saying that he needs to change his game at all, but it's something that he needs to look at and say, look, I've got other players around me in better positions. Let me give him go. And it's easy saying that, watching him from the outside and watching it on the back of, on the comfort of my sofa. But he does it quite a few often. It's not the first time that I've noticed this. A lot of times this season, when he's missed a chance, he's always looking to go again. But when the easy options around him, he won't look for it.
Keith, I know we're going to sort of, well, we could probably go into it now. I suppose we can start going into now. And Avi, I kind of agree with that, Avi, what you said there. Mo does have that tendency, but it usually ends up him wronging any rights anyway. So we have nothing to moan about in the end. Maybe this was a game, one of those very rare games that he couldn't right his wrong. And when I say wrong, I mean to miss a chance like that, where we don't often expect him to miss that chance. But how did you think the front three done as a whole then in that case? Because obviously your man Mane, after that opening, does end up getting a goal. Now, it's good we've had a little time to think about it, because it would have seemed like I've got an agenda against Sadio Mane if I gave my thoughts straight after the game. So the more I think about it, and the more you watch again, and then you calm down and you think to yourself, Sadio Mane, for the best part of 5 years now, has been playing on that left side in a system designed to get the best out of him, Bobby, Smo, in an outstanding Liverpool team, the best Liverpool team of our life. Oh, sorry, he played one season on the right. But either way, he's either played on the right or 90% on the left. He's been used as a 9, which was the sacred role of Bobby, because we said he's such a unique player in terms of how he does it, how he plays it. But now he's being used as similar. So then Jota replaces Bobby, who's a total different player to Bobby, and now Mane's playing that role, and he plays it totally different from everyone else. How did you think Sadio Mane performed? How do you think he played?
Yeah, so it was interesting because, again, watching it after knowing the result, it allows you to kind of just hone in on a few things a little bit more. And I thought Sadio Mane, the way he plays that role is quite aggressive. He's very, very aggressive in terms of the initial presses when the other team has the ball. I think he is starting to look like a player that actually kind of wants to come a little bit deep to play it off. The problem, I suppose, which can frustrate a lot of people, is a lot of the time Sadio Mane, you watch him like get the ball and just miss-hit a pass or slow hit a pass or take a touch and get crowded out quite easily. And I think in isolation, when you're watching that game, when there's high pressure, where it's really, really squeaky bum time, it can probably make frustrate a lot of people. But I don't know, Grizz, if you wouldn't mind me touching on the goal, because if anything, out of all of them, what he's showing is that he has been all season a centre forward. All his goals this season that he scored
14 league goals and 5 to 7 yard box, yeah.
Right, and watching that goal, so obviously there's a lot, and rightly so, praise goes to Naby Keita for that pass to Trent, the way Trent catches the technique with the half volley. But let's rewind it back a few seconds. Let's rewind it back like one further phase of play, because it was the initial pass from Van Dijk. Mane comes in and then lets the ball roll off and ultimately takes 2 players away. So all of a sudden, when he's playing that ball over to Diaz, Diaz is one-on-one with the player. Robertson's got the free. He's got no one marking him. So where I felt West Ham were really good was almost like blocking out, having an extra man on each side of the pitch. So Lanzini was the extra man when you had their wing back and their midfielder. So it's almost like 3v2s on each side. But Mane makes almost like a striker's movement where he lets the ball go through, takes out two players, and all of a sudden West Ham are scrambling back. As West Ham are scrambling back and Liverpool are playing these patterns of play, Sadio Mane then creeps around the back of the side of the centre backs, and he makes a number 9 run. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, a striker's run. We'd be giving Kane all the plaudits in the world if he did it. We'd be talking about how great Haaland is if he did it. It was a category number 9 run, and it was perfectly timed to perfection. People are talking about VAR and lines. Let's be honest, it's automated these days. People don't draw the lines, right? So it's an automated process. So get over it, right? If it's offside, it's an automatic. The computer says
it's
no.
Objective. It's not subjective. I don't know.
No
how
one's
to do
drawing the
it
line
yourself.
anymore. Those days are done. It's computer says no, right? So he times that run to perfection. But the fact that he gets into that position in the first place proves that, again, he's evolved his way of playing football this season. Whereas the Mane that we remember, what Diaz is today, right? The guy gets the ball on the floor, runs at you, explosive, right? Takes a couple man on, etc., etc. That Mane, I've accepted. That's not the Mane that I'm expecting anymore. The Mane that I expect now is the number 9 to be in the box at the right place at the right time, run the line to perfection, and score what was a crucial goal today. So that's what I feel with him now.
I think you're spot on because I didn't look at it like that the first time I watched it and the last 4 or 5 performances of Sadio Mane, and there's absolutely nothing wrong in being wrong sometimes. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong
Can you
with
put
it.
your hand up then, please?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I was frustrated. I don't think I was anything else. I hadn't sort of, written him off in terms of whatever, but it was just frustration because, as I said, we watch Liverpool over the years and we watch it absolutely with an eagle eye, especially our front lads, and they have a way of playing. And it's so, we're so desensitized, lads. Is that the word to use again?
100%.
To the way we play, to the way we attack, to the way we play. And again, this is an evolution of our attack that we've been waiting to see. And it would absolutely take time to adapt and see the different roles and the different runs and the different types of players we can utilize in those forward positions. I want to come to you, Avi, because I know you're a very big believer in Sadio Mane in this new role, as well as Keith. So let you have the floor.
Yeah, Grizz, look, I was with you. I think we did a show last summer where we said, this is before the season ended from last season, and said if a suitable offer comes from Mane, I would consider it because it looks as if he is on sort of like a downwards sort of trajectory. He hasn't got that ingenuity or that flexibility that Diaz now offers on the left. In my eyes, I don't want to see Sadio on the left too many times now going forward, as long as he's a Liverpool player. I think he's far more effective now as a 9. I think that unpredictability, that ingenuity has gone from his game. It doesn't make him a lesser of a player. I think he's just adapting his play as a 9 now. And I'll ask this question. Bobby Firmino sometimes, sometimes my criticism, and I can be critical of Bobby, is he doesn't get in the box enough. Sometimes those chances, you wish that, I wish Bobby was in the box because he would have taken that. Sometimes because of the way he plays, the way he drops back and allows Salah and Mane to utilize those positions up top, he will create space for them. But sometimes the ball will go across, it will flash across the box and he's not there. And you think, I wish Bobby was there. Mane is in that position now. Jota is in that position. And look, I'm not saying Mane is the answer for us going forward as a full-time number 9. But if he's scoring goals, he's got 14 in 33 now. If he gets 20 goals this season, and all his goals this season have come from the 5-7 yard box, that fox in the box kind of type goals, right? Then I would actually consider maybe, giving him an extension, as long as he knows that going forward he will be operating as a 9 and he will have to be rotated because, Jota's been incredible. I mean, he's come back from injury. I think he needs a little bit of time, maybe another week or so until he's at full optimum. But Mane, I do like him, Chris. He got a little bit of harsh criticism in the League Cup final, but I thought he did well enough as a 9. I thought he did well. 2 glaring chances, one which I think both Trent that crosses in should have scored. The shot off Naby, yes, it was a wonderful save from Mendy, but Mane should be scoring those as a 9. He's getting in those positions. Until he doesn't get in those positions, I'll start to worry as a 9. But as long as he's getting in those positions, as long as he's seeing that shot come across yesterday from Trent and he got in front of the defender and got in front of Fabianski and scores, I actually I'm a fan of his as a 9. I'm a fan of him as a 9.
Very quickly before I get Conroy's opinion on it, Keith and Avi, yes, no. Does Bobby score in that position?
No.
I don't think he
Have
gets
they?
in that position. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
But
it's a very different.
they're
Go-
different,
just
though.
very quickly, a couple of super chats, Conroy. For me, I appreciate the super chat because Mold's game did die down, but they had 3 men on him. He beats 2, and the third gets the ball off him. They did.
Commentators did make
Ju-
note
ju-
of
Just
that.
to,
Yeah.
to add the point, because that's a great super chat, and also to Sonny Kang in the comments as well. Said this about 10 minutes ago. We spoke about it before we came on air, just because I know we're going to go on the Mane topic. What I mentioned about the line not West Ham not having between their midfield and defence. I think Sonny Kang made a great point as well. That they doubled up, overloaded on his side as well. So when they got more secure and compact, they definitely went more overloaded on Salah's side, and even in the average positions that we've actually got there, it showed that as well. So I just wanted to shout out Sonny Kang because that's a very good point as well.
And just one last super chat before I get to you, Conroy. Hope Klopp brings in more technical players, a must in my opinion. With the Cavalier link, do you reckon Klopp goes to 4-2-3-1 with Jota up top next season? The world's his oyster. We will bring in technical players.
You have got 100 assists so from your 2 fullbacks. So
when
that's,
you're playing at Liverpool Football Club, you have to be technical.
That's through watching Man City's performance today, though. That's like wanting to do what they're doing, but that's not the way Klopp does it. Like we tried different things, but it's not the same.
Slate him all you want, Grizz. You can slate him all you want now.
Ahmed had saved my blushes and said, Ali and I are not cousins for the record. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Ali Sissoko, bless his cotton socks.
I believe our Ali Sissoko had a H in his name as well, so that's why they're not related.
But Grizz, just on that point, that was a great comment. I do actually, it was ironic. I was watching the City game today, and I did think, do you know what? See, if we've got a Carvalho, it does give us that option in certain games. But I do think Klopp sees the fullbacks as the first to go to as the main playmakers, and then he can adapt in certain situations for certain games. And I think that's why Carvalho will be a good signing. But just thought I'd add that.
Selection says, yes, Sadio has some traits to play as a 9, but respectfully, I don't want him to see as a false 9 consistently. He scares me when he drops deep. Conroy, Keith and Avi are huge fans of Mane in this situation. What do you think? How are you feeling? How are you?
Few things. I don't think there's much a sample size about this. It's only been a couple of games. He scored the majority of those Fox in the box goals from actually playing on the left, though, as like a starting structure. So again, I don't think there's enough sample size to say that going forward, I think he can do a deputy's job there, but probably like a third deputy, because we always say Jota does a passable Firmino, and then Firmino does Firmino, if you know what I mean. I understand. I think Mane can play there, great, but I've said it from the start of the season. I don't understand this criticism. Like Mane, for me, is effective now, and he's been effective for the past 6 months. But these goals he scored, he has been in a free on the left, though, guys. It's not like he's been a 9 all season. So I think he'll continue to get those goals if he does play on the left. It's not like he just stays out wide. There's movement there. So to be honest, I'm not really worried. Personally, Jota, Firmino start ahead as a central forward for me every day of the week. Firmino's not the same, but I think we've seen Liverpool enough to know what Firmino brings, and he allows the other wide forwards to get the goals, and that's the reason we've had so many Golden Boot winners. And I think Jota is scary now because Jota's kind of getting better at that, but also being that clinical striker, or trying to be as clinical as we can with the way we play the 9. I agree. I think Mane can do a job there, no problem at all. I still think though, I think you're underestimating how much Klopp has faith in Mane to play on the left though. I feel like we always do this thing where we've only got 11 players. If the last week showed you like injuries, tactics, there'll always be options. Every game there'll be a storyline that Mane can either come in at the left or he'll have to fill in the middle. I think there'll be plenty of game time, to be honest. But for me, I don't think there's enough. So I need to see more of him in the middle, because I think he does okay. But every time I watch him in the middle, I know his hold-up's not great. And I feel like Jota's hold-up is decent, will improve, and Firmino's hold-up's superb. So if you're going into a game, the way we play, your hold-up has to be very good as a number 9 or the false 9. So that's all I think. But I do understand. I think Keith's right to credit Mane. I feel like he does do the 9 slightly different when making those runs. However, I think you get that when he plays wide as well. I don't think this is and I think he's always had that facet to his game in the last year, getting those striker goals.
Can I say something, please? I know you're back. and I know you're eager to get as many words as you can in.
Go on,
But
then.
because someone's agreed with me, because I'm with Conroy on this, I'm an absolute, and this is why I brought Vase of Flowers, who's a regular in the chat, and makes some brilliant points. And it's true, Avi, it's just with one signing in particular, only signing, I should say. He says, I love the way Diaz has added several new permutations already. Ole, 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 ole. And it's true, because look at the conversations we're having as Liverpool fans now in terms of the options and suggested way of playing, and sort of the all of them have different strengths. Now, I wanted to first finish what you was going to say. I'm sorry. And then obviously, because I was going to come to Luiz Diaz now, and I was going to say, this guy, a couple of things I've noted. He's only played in the home games. Obviously, we've only had one actually away game anyway, which was Burnley, right? And obviously Wembley.
Special team Burnley.
Exactly. But he's settled in now. I thought he had his least effective game overall. So just a couple of things I want to talk about, but it's amazing, isn't it? The way we're talking about our forwards now, you know, and I agree with Conroy. I don't think Mane's finished on the left, but for example, you don't want to see him start over Diaz if all are fit over the left.
I would love for you or Conroy to tell me the last time Sadio Mane had a great 75 minutes, 80 minutes off the left. If you could think, and you don't think he could do a job, name me again.
He's still effective though, isn't he, Avi? That's the thing.
No, I don't think he is. I've been saying a long time, Conroy. I don't think he is.
No, but
he might score the goal from originally.
But that's effective for me. That's effective.
But
though.
all his goals,
he's got a thread on effective.
All his 14
goals
goals have come from a central position, though. I don't think he has. How many assists has he got from the left this season?
Can I just say something? What Keith meant by that stat, and I think even Keith will back me up on this, Avi, and I think this is where you've taken it out of context. Keith hasn't said all his goals have been from a main number 9 position the way he's playing now.
Well,
he has scored the majority of his goals from the wide left position that he plays, which still shows he's effing effective from the left. His performances in terms of taking on players is a total different subject.
How many assists has Mane got this season? How many assists has Mane got this season?
Mane's got 2 assists this season, right? So Mane's got 2 assists. He's got now, you know me. I'm not being sponsored by them, but you know, I love my Who Scored. Yeah, I love Who Scored. Great site, right?
We should be getting sponsored at this rate. Keep you the best customer.
Really needs to, really. If you're out there, Who Scored, you know, I'm here.
I'm gonna clip this.
Send in your resume.
He was rated man of the match in 3 of those matches that he scored in the season. So, you know, in terms of like, he was man of the match in the Arsenal game. He was man of the match in the Leeds game. And he was given Who Scored man of the match in another game. If you see my thread on Twitter, everyone watching, then you'll find out who that third one was. So, you know, it's not just a case of, it's just been goals and nothing else. Creativity wise, yes, 100%. If Abby want to go down that route, is he providing enough end product for others? No, not as much as he has done in his career at Liverpool. Absolutely not. But in terms of actually impacting games, and we look at the volume size of games that he's impacted this season, you have to look at it. Is that there is 11 games in particular where he has scored or produced an assist, where Liverpool have gone on to either get 3 points or a point from that game. So in terms of like, when we look back at this season and we look at the points that have accumulated, you can look at games and you will see Sadio Mane's name pop up in that. And that's probably my biggest thing. And he's done the majority of that, as Conroy has rightly said to me, from the left-hand side. Where his intelligence has been is the fact that he's making those runs, and he's making those runs into the box for those goals.
Absolutely, Keith, yeah.
I
get what you're saying, Avi. It's frustrating. I do get it. Like, he's not a man. I do get that. For
me, we've evolved. I mean, if a Diaz is fit and a Mane is fit, I'm putting Diaz on the left now. Just his work rate, his skill, he's so easy to. He has that natural instinct to take a player on. Mane, I don't think Mane has that anymore. You know, I think the last time we saw that Mane was the title-winning season. You know, the season when we had COVID and all those injuries. You know, we started to see a decline in Mane. It doesn't mean that he's finished, but I think now we can see him as a 9. And look, he's only been in that position for how many games this season? 4 or 5, and he's got 3 or 4 goals. You know, he's performing well. He's not overall over 90 minutes. Yeah, he's still probably not, you know, giving us that output that we are accustomed to with Sadio. But for me, he's no longer a left winger for me. He's not one on the output on the left hand side of.
Do you think he'll be
He's
the
central.
the filler now, Avi? So to everyone, not just you, Avi. Sorry. Do you think he'll be the? Because I do think we underestimate every game. There's always a storyline of someone's missing out, or there's always rotation nowadays. So do you think Sadio will be the go-to filler? So like, say we need Jota or Firmino needs a rest or whatever, he goes there, or Salah needs to miss again, he goes on the right. Diaz comes in, he goes on the left. Do you think he'll be the natural filler for the front three?
Well, think about it. He has, out of all of them, has been the man that has now had a season at all three positions, right?
Yeah, and smashed it in the right as well, Keith.
Right.
He smashed it in the right. People forget how good he was in the right.
Went to the left. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, a filler, absolutely.
It's a difficult one because we know Look, Mane is one of those. Look, we saw it with Salah yesterday. He didn't like it when he came off, but Mane becomes petulant. Is he if you've got a Bobby fit, Jota fit, and a Mane fit, is Mane our number 9 now? Is he effectively the front starter as a 9? I don't think he is. I still think it's Jota. I think our front 3 now at the moment, our best front 3, I don't care which game it is, it's Diaz, Jota, and Salah. So I'm not sure if Mane is willing to play that second fiddle or be rotated when he knows that, he's coming up to 30, he could go elsewhere, probably get a bigger paycheck and be a consistent performer week in and week out where he'll get into the team. It's going to be I was about to say exciting, but it's going to be interesting to see what comes of it in the summer, whether we give him an extension or we just let him see his contract out.
I think it's a very tough one. I've openly said I think Mane is on a downward trajectory, but that doesn't mean he's finished. I shouldn't need to repeat ourselves.
All right, Grizz, let me ask you the question. Let me ask you the question then, because I like putting you on the spot, and these lot don't do it when I've been missing on the Sundays. If he scores 20 goals this season, 20 goals in 44, 45 games, hopefully we do the quadruple, whatever. He scores 20 goals, right?
How many?
A year left. He's got 14 right now. So
and he scores 20 through the middle.
Say he scores 20. Let's say he scores 20.
Regardless of where he plays.
Regardless of where he plays, yeah. He scores 20.
You know what it's like. It'll move a few times.
A year to go. What do you do with Mane come summer?
You
offer him an extension or just let him ride out his last year?
You offer him a new deal, absolutely.
Okay.
Where does he go, guys? Where does he go? Who do you think would spend big money on Mane or
PSG?
But I don't know.
Go for him. He's not a PSG type player. Yeah.
Maybe it's money though. I'm
Messi,
thinking
Neymar,
money.
What is a PSG type player, Grizz?
Exactly the ones you just mentioned. But a couple of super chats before we continue this debate. I don't want to get off this. The reason I say.
Can we pick up Selection as well, by the way, please?
Yeah.
And I'll read this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Selection, for
Selection's a sponsor.
My man.
Well.
The reason I say we need technical players is because it's evident we do, in my opinion, technical can help with calmness of a game. I think we are rash around times and just react instead of think.
And he sent another one later.
Fucking, I'll stop it now. Selection's getting too much. I agree with Avi. I would choose Diaz over Mane. Diaz is a bigger threat as a winger. Sadio is effective, and that's what I'm saying. Sadio is still effective. Don't get me wrong. And look, he might play on the left again. Klopp might say, "Look, Diaz, take a break and let me play Mane at left, Bobby in the middle, or Jota." He can still be effective, but I just think right now where he is, if he's learning a new position, right, as a 9, I think stick him there. And if he's scoring goals, Conroy or Grizz, if he's scoring goals from a 9, stick with him.
Sorry guys.
Let me ask you guys, right? Just to finish maybe on this segment, or we can continue if you guys want. Let me ask you guys then. What do you do with Mane? We've asked this question before. Has minds changed? Has opinions changed? Now that we've got Jota, now that we've got Bobby running up his contract, same situation with Mane. And Diaz coming in, Divock Origi leaving, Minamino being a very able deputy as that 6th, 7th striker, which is fucking useful at times. What are you doing with Sadio Mane then? And bearing in mind, because I still look, first and foremost, I think if there's a Champions League final tomorrow, I think our front 3 is Mane, Jota, and Salah. That's my personal opinion. A, what's your personal opinion on that Champions League final tomorrow? And B, the Sadio Mane conundrum. I'll start off with Conroy.
All right, so just on this one, guys, I think a big thing on this is who you're competing with. Now, you're competing with a squad of City who've got depth and top players who sit on the bench in rotation. And this is the thing. It is a rotation game now, so I do feel like it's too easy to be like, oh, just sell Mane and we'll get someone in who can score 15 goals a season even when they're not being in the best form. Because at the end of the day, that's still important goals and clutch moments, right? You're competing with a squad who's got Foden, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, who can play in that position as well. Jesus, they'll probably get a striker as well in the summer, and then I'm forgetting a few. So Sterling. Jack Grealish. Now, unfortunately, this is the time, this is the era we're in, but that's who we're against. So this concept of 11 players has got to change. It's not about that anymore. You need to make your squad as strong as possible. You need to make your squad so good that you're having to let 3 top players out of it in a Champions League game who can't even get on the bench. That's what we're competing with. So for me, right now, I think, I don't care what you have to do, and I understand Sadio Mane might have a say in this, but I do emphasise Real Madrid, Barcelona, not in a good state. PSG, probably not a good fit. Look what's happened to Gini right now as well. That's maybe an example. You might not go there if you're Mane. And then beyond that, I feel like you can highlight that there's so many games, you're competing on all fronts, that you can still get games. Like this idea that you won, I think is not correct, because Minamino has literally scored 8 goals this season and he's only played in the cup competitions and a few Premier League. And he's still managed, he's quite content. And I know they're not the same players, but I just think if this is 8 years ago, fine. Or 5 years ago, I think Man City, you're against a giant who's, I listed, 7 forwards there who are all top players. I think you need to keep Mane. For me, I think you need to be competing in every tournament, and I think you can do that. If we can win another trophy this season, imagine win a treble.
If
right? I feel like you can. You want to be around that, and I feel like there's enough games to rotate. So that's just my take on it, guys.
But you didn't answer the end part.
What was the end part?
League final tomorrow.
Right now.
Now.
I play Diaz because Diaz is in form. And I feel like Salah's top player right now, best player in the world, but even he in the last couple of games has not been great. So I think
But who are you playing the 3? I said.
So Diaz, Jota, and Salah.
Keith.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So for me, first of all, the answer is pretty simple. You absolutely give him a new contract. There's no player that you're finding in world football that has both the accolades and the first of all the accolades. Second of all, the fitness. Diogo Jota, I'm looking at you. Seems to be taking a month off quite a few times these days at this moment in time. And Sadio Mane is always available. Always available. We talk about goals. And with all due respect, I like Luiz Diaz. Great player. You know, he's come and fire. But if we're going to talk stats, because that's what we always do, 1 goal involvement since he's been at Liverpool. His time will come, I'm sure.
Stats aren't ever enough.
But we're looking at effectiveness. We are looking at effectiveness. We're looking at the opening goal against Manchester City, right? We're looking at the winning goal against West Ham. We're looking at 2 of the 4 goal, 1 goal, 1 assist against Arsenal. We're looking at the opening goal against Chelsea. Yeah, big games against the top 4 or 5 teams in the country, in the Premier League, and Sadio Mane is stepping up to the plate in these big clutch games. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, why would you want to let a player like that leave? The only way a player like that goes out the door is if they themselves believe, first and foremost, that they're going to get paid. Because that's another thing that we got to remember. A lot of these players that we wish for, you know, we're going to try and then probably going to have to offer them more than we're currently paying Sadio Mane, right? So Sadio Mane is content in being in that position at what we're paying him for what he gives us. It's a no-brainer to keep him. And the legs might go, as they say, but the brain always remains. So if the brain is remaining and he's scoring those type of goals, he starts in the Champions League final for me, as far as I'm concerned. I would go as far as to start this front 3 in the Champions League final, because I do like Diaz, because I think Diaz gives a little bit of sense of the unpredictability. But it's Diaz, it's Mane, and it's Salah for me for an effective opportunity at winning a Champions League final tomorrow. Absolutely. Sadio Mane hat on.
There you go. People.
Gave us a better segment than Roman Reigns does on WWE SmackDown. Well done, Keith.
There you go. I told you.
That'll be coming. That question will be coming. Don't worry. That'll be coming.
Keith has been ready for you guys. I told you we're going to have a front 3 debate.
Yeah.
Keith came with the notes and the homework. You know what I mean? So look. It's all
What about you, Grizz? Who are you starting in the front three tomorrow then? Because I know it's not Mane in the middle. We both know that.
No, it's not Mane in the middle. I would start Diaz, Jota, and Salah. That would be my front three. But I think we're all in agreement in some sorts. I just think Avi I think Avi is the least or the most that wants Mane not given a contract, unless I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Avi.
I think it's look. These are what I think, and I'm going to go with the same front three as you, Grizz. Diaz, Jota, Salah. I think this summer it will be both an amicable decision. Both sides that Sadio Mane will not. He won't be here next season.
No,
I think it'll be amicable.
Okay, so you think Sadio is the odd man out, basically?
I think Salah. I think Mane will go.
Okay, well that's fine. Look, the
Do you
chat's
think they'll use after a forward, Avi? Do you think they would let Origi and Mane go, then try and get a forward then?
We will get a replacement then.
I'm not asking him that though, Conroy. See, this is where he gets he's
changed my mind. He has in this new role. He's changed my mind.
So now you've given a different answer.
I personally would
That's
give
what I want
him.
To hear.
I personally would give him an extension after months of saying, you know what, maybe it is time to say bye bye. I would definitely say, right now, if he scores 20 and he's getting better and better as a 9, then I would give him an extension. But I think the club thinks
There's
otherwise.
No buts here, man. Look, I'm asking your opinion. I'm not asking you what you think the club will do.
But I'm giving you two facets. I'm giving you two opinions.
I don't. I want you.
Then sell him. No, then sell him. Then get rid. Get rid because everyone knows who I want.
Winner the Etihad. Clip that up.
Everyone knows who I want anyway. So
people, Avi's made it clear. We've got to him right at the end. He tried to say this and that.
Return of Avalanche. Love it.
Avalanche
love it.
is back. And he said, "Get rid of Sadio Mane."
No, not get rid. I think he's gone. I think he'll be gone.
Okay, so Avi says he's gone.
I'll be the realist in here. Okay.
Well, it's it's not about realist. There's one thing he goes. Look, where is he? One second. Where's that Mane one? He said, man. There was another super chat, but if we find it, he said, I don't know something about why you guys think no one will come in for Mane. Yeah. If someone can find
that was actually
if you can find it for me, let me know. Yeah. But look, it's amazing to have these conversations. Now, okay. So this is selection super chat that we missed. It says, why do you guys act like teams would come in for Mane? Okay, well maybe we'll break that down. Because he's a very good player selection. He's one of the top goal scorers around Europe from a wide forward position. He's won the Champions League.
I think it means why wouldn't they, Grizz? I think maybe selection means why wouldn't they come in for Mane? Because he's...
Okay, selection, send in another super chat to confirm that, please. I can see him in Serie A and even League One. If we get a replacement, 100% Sadio.
I could see him at Inter Milan. Inter Milan's a good fit for him, especially under Simeone Inzaghi.
And then there's the other side that says, Avi, are you smoking Gouda from the year?
It's been a good chat, though. It's been a good debate.
Well, it is a debate, and it's a brilliant conversation to have because this is the position that we're in now. We can talk about this, and look, I get the criticism that Avi will get for saying, "Oh, look, we've got Luiz Diaz, so he's got one new toy, and now he just wants to chuck out his old toy." Typical childish behavior. Or I could see Keith, what he's saying. Keith is coming with, or I could see a rebuttal to Keith and say, "Well, Keith, the signing of Jota and Diaz proves we can move on. We can find the next Sadio Mane. We have proven to find the next Sadio Mane. And if we think Sadio Mane still holds value, like Avi, and I'm not sure Conroy thinks that we could move him on, but me, I in the summer, I did think we could move him on. There may be something to say that if we can get 40 million for him, 50 million for him, we can find the next Sadio Mane, a younger, brighter version. And that means Diaz and Jota are front line attackers along with Salah now. And then we've got, a new, younger version to step in. What I will say is it's very difficult to do because then Conroy came back with the thing about if you let Divock go, and we're saying that the first option probably out of all of our options is Bobby to go first out of the other names mentioned because we haven't mentioned Bobby, have we? Where does Bobby fall in this chat?
I feel like Bobby would stay. I feel like Bobby's a different option for certain games, and you feel like Klopp will always back to play Bobby in certain games, and not every game. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think Firmino's he's a team player, isn't he? I think he's quite happy to be part of it, and I do think Bobby Firmino's. Jota's always try to replicate what he does. I feel like Klopp would always trust Bobby in certain games, and I know that's his form's not always been spot on, but I think it's hard to replace a Bobby Firmino. I don't think there's anyone out there, and to have that ace up your sleeve with him, or just have that option, I don't know. I just get the feeling that Bobby Firmino, would he rather move somewhere else, or is he quite happy? His family's in Liverpool. I feel like he's quite happy to be a team player.
I spoke to Avi about this, and he said, I'll tell you what he said in a minute, or he'll tell you what he said. Actually, he won't remember what he said. I'll tell you what he said. I'd move Bobby on before Mane. Bobby picks up a lot of injuries now, and that is something that, Keith touched upon. Jota had a shot at Jota, so I can see where this Redfellas is split. Like Avi's going down the Luiz Diaz, and then Keith's going down the Jota. Well, Jota, can't step into our king's shoes straight away. So I see where it's going. Selection says have to start looking long term. At least one of the three have to go. I don't think Sadio is happy at the moment. I think he will leave. Not sure the price. I think this is Avi's burner. Not gonna lie.
I still think we need a forward though, guys. I think when we let Origi go, that's something we need to address. We've not got enough time to talk about that, but we can't keep continuously going with two of the best fullbacks in the world at crossing and not have someone over 5'10".
We know that's
at times.
We know that's
at times. Just when you're competing in a league where the small margins are massive like that, if we let Origi go, we can't afford not to have a proper number 9.
Very quickly.
But then when you look at someone like Cancelo,
Avi, please. We must move on. We haven't even touched on
it.
This segment was supposed to be at the end, but it had to come in now. Very quickly, though, Avi and Keith, Conroy said about Bobby, and it's very difficult. He's the most difficult to replicate. Why must we replicate Bobby, though? I'm going to put that question. I'm not going to give Conroy a chance to answer, unfair as it may seem. But Keith and Avi, why must we replace Bobby? If the system that we're evolving into, like you two are talking about evolution, brings us goals, brings us chances, brings us efficiency, why must we look for a replacement for Bobby, or is it a must?
I don't think it's a must, but we do know that Klopp loves that protector as a forward in big games, like this season against United away. I know it's not the same Man United, but he went with Jota, Bobby and Salah, and you could see why, because Bobby drops back. Chelsea game at Anfield this season, he was dropping back and he was causing a problem for Kante and Jorginho. Do we need a like for Bobby? I don't think we do as much as maybe Conroy thinks, but I think there are players who can do what Bobby does in current football at the moment, who are far younger, who can fit into Liverpool and the new system and the new evolution, the transition in what we're trying to implement, and do a little bit more in terms of productivity, in terms of goals and assists.
For me personally, I think the Brazilian church in Liverpool needs a new pastor. So why are we going to let him go? Do you know what I mean? That's it. He's staying for life, baby. He needs to baptize a few more Brazilians from Brazil. You know what I mean? To come over. So we keep him. No, at one point I'll say about Bobby, which is something that we've said about Sadio, and I think we've actually touched on this with Jota as well, is that because Liverpool plays such high-risk football in two ways now, with the high line, but B, something I've noticed is even with the way we play the ball, like we pass around, if you will, we're very aggressive now. So I always felt like back in the day when we had the Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson, we kept it, knocked it between ourselves. We were quite calm, patient with the ball. Actually, now I feel like we're looking to push that ball into the forwards as quickly as possible. Like literally, Keita will look for that pass forward. Henderson will look for that pass forward. Fabinho, the same. Like we will go aggressive. When that middleman does not protect the ball well enough, we get countered so hard, so badly, in such bad situations. That's the essence of what we need to replace with Bobby Firmino. Someone who looks after the ball in central situations, is able to take us from phases of play. Because too many times I felt with Sadio is that, his decision-making when he gets the ball played to his feet with his back towards goal, a lot of the times he loses that ball. And when you lose that ball and you give it to West Ham, which they did to us yesterday, they hit that ball forward straight away and they've got 2v2 2v3 runners, and all of a sudden we're getting counterattacked. So it's the skill set that Bobby has brought to us over the years that we need to look at who's going to come in there and protect the ball first before looking to score, dribble, try and take 10 man on at the same time. Because Diaz does that a lot, Mo Salah does that a lot, and Mane looks to do that a lot. We need someone who's going to look after the ball better, in my opinion, if we're going to replace Bobby Firmino. But at the same time, is Firmino's time coming to an end in this situation? It's up for debate, because ultimately Klopp could turn around and just play him back 10 yards further deeper and say he could be a auxiliary midfielder for all we know, if Firmino is quite happy to stay at the club on the contract he's on. But it feels like it's coming towards the end with him. That's what I think.
And one thing I hear a lot.
Conor,
just 1 second. A lot of the things that I hear as well. There's no one out there like Bobby. There's no one out there like Bobby. I'm sorry, but there are players out there around Europe who can do a job like Bobby can for us. I don't like this thing that, there's no one like Mane or Bobby. There are, and like sometimes we've got to move on. Sometimes I love Bobby. I love Mane. They've been here for 5-6 years. Who wouldn't? They're living legends at Liverpool Football Club. But unfortunately, there comes a point, especially with 1 year to go on their contracts, that this summer's crucial. Do we stick or twist? Do we give them an extension? I don't believe we give both of them an extension. So I think one or the other, or both even, may leave.
Can I just add quickly? Just to make it clear, I don't think we should replace Bobby. What I was meaning is, I agree, Avi, that there's ones out there, but kind of agreeing with you saying about the evolving thing. I still think, though, having a Bobby Firmino in your team who can come in for certain games is a great instrument to have, which I think costs you a lot less money to extend their contract than get someone else in, who, yes, they could do it, Avi, but Bobby's so ingrained into that way of play. I know I'm not saying every game we play that way, but he knows how to do that, and he knows a Klopp system. So what I was meaning is, I don't think we should replace Bobby, but I think the way we're going, to have that on in the background as an option is a great instrument to have. So that's why I feel like it's easier to extend Bobby Firmino and for certain games use it, instead of buying someone in who maybe he might not utilise it every game. He might play a Jota, if you know what I mean. So that's my take on it. I feel like, I said this before, and this is not on my thoughts on the situation, but someone asked Super Chat ages ago, he said, if you were tomorrow, who would you sell in the summer if you had to? I would always sell Mane. I'm not saying I want to sell Mane. I'm just saying, but I think you can replace Mane to a certain extent. I'm not saying, they'll do what they can do. I think Firmino's type is harder to replace. So that's what I was meaning. I think to keep Firmino, but by the way, I don't think we should sell Mane. I'm just saying that's my thoughts towards Firmino. He's an instrument to have, even with the evolution in our team. I think to have that, I think someone in the comments, he played at Emirates, he played well. He can come in European nights he has to. I just think for me, it's like, see, during the week, you wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if he's fit, actually, apologies. But you could see him coming into that game, and Grez, Keith, Avi, you wouldn't be freaking out about it. So that's my thoughts on Firmino. I think he's a great instrument to keep at the club.
Our sponsor Selection says, yesterday showed me we need another player who can do what Firmino does in the front three. Whole front three was greedy. Guri, maybe PSG won him though.
This is definitely his burner account. This is.
But if you're spending 60 million, guys, on a player who might not start every game, and might not be in the front four who are getting picked, or front five, are Liverpool going to do that? I don't know. Like Jota, Diaz, Salah, and Carvalho probably come to midfield if that happens. So yeah, no, possible actually if you sell Firmino. I just think it's. I think we'll
just on that quickly, Grizz.
We're gonna just all night.
I mean, Guri will not be 60 million euros. Just FYI.
Okay. Well, we haven't even got 200 likes, so I don't know how we're giving him such.
Oh, come on, guys! 12 more and another 70 more before we hit 10K. Come on, guys! Let's push.
That skill the other day by Guri was ridiculous.
No, I agree. It's actually pathetic. Come on, guys.
Come on, hit the likes, guys.
I'm back as well, man. I'm back.
Fahim's in the chat. My man from Luton. Big up Fahim. He says, can we address the selfishness by Salah and Mane? We've just addressed it, my brother. It's going to ruffle Pop Diaz. And I don't know who wants to take this, but I think it comes back to the fact that they have just not played enough together to have the understanding. I know, Keith, you spoke about where Diaz should have played in Salah twice in that amazing run where he just turned on the burners, didn't he? And just sprinted away from the West Ham players. But then looked to cut in and get the shot himself where he had a chance to play in Salah twice. I'm pretty certain that these kind of plays will develop over time. That's my thoughts now. I must admit, after the game, I was fuming. Avi knows. I thought the front three as a collective and as a unit and as a system were awful. But then I've calmed down again because people talk to you and you think and you don't, you try to be humble about your instant reactions. And I think it will take time. I think we eventually could crack this system. These set of players, these forwards that we've got, could be coached into a system, because you've got to remember they've barely had any coaching together. They've just been thrust and put in there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a moment in the second half where there was an interplay. Sadio Mane picks up the ball from the halfway line, dribbles through the middle, passes it to Diaz. Diaz cuts it in, passes it to Trent. Trent cuts it back, and if Salah just hits that first time, it's 2-0, game over. So there was kind of that glimpse where you could see that actually, okay, they're starting to figure it out. It must be challenging for Diaz, because you got to think he's come from Porto as the main man, where all the responsibility of the attacking play goes through him, and he takes that on board. I think it's just got to take him a bit of time to say, actually, do you know what, Diaz, you don't need to cut back and hit it, bend it around every single time. You don't need to take those extra touches. You've got Mane and Salah are going to make those runs. It's almost telepathic, because it's what they're used to. So they'll get there in that sense. My only concern is what is right. It was what we touched on at the start of the show, is the fact that the likes of Salah, I think all three of them have this inclination sometimes that if they don't get it off straight away, then they will get it into their heads. And because they're at such that elite level, they're kind of like, nah, what, God, me? What, they tackled me? They blocked my shot, I'm going to show him. And then all of a sudden they do it again and again and again, and they keep getting blocked out. There was many instances, I thought, in the game against West Ham where it was just a touch, just that extra pass that I thought West Ham blocked out quite effectively. Props to Lanzini. I thought he was brilliant in covering for his defenders in blocking that out. But if that clicks, or when that clicks, hopefully, then I think we're going to be in for something special.
Just on the front
just
three,
just a quick one, yeah, Avi? Just a quick one.
On the front three, see, also got a big ban from saying just a quick one.
Just a quick one.
The front three.
Story of your life, innit? Just a quick one.
Boy, Mum's watching. I'm cheerful. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, the front three, Diaz has come in a period where we're pushing on all four fronts. His first couple of months in, he's already won the League Cup. He needs a good preseason. I know, look, I'm excited as everyone else is that Diaz is, he's playing well, but the goals and assists next season is when I expect him to be a, 1 in 1.56 or 1.73, the new statisticians that they do. I don't think he's 1 2. I think he'll even be better than that. He will run up some numbers, assists as well. He's learning as he's going on. He's learning with the likes of Vitos, Matos, Pep Linders, Krawietz, Klopp, about getting into rhythm with this team. And the good thing is Porto play in a kind of similar way. I know they haven't showed it against us, but in the league, they play that high pressing with the three that they've got with Vieira, Vitinha, Ivan Nilsson, Mehdi Taremi. So he's kind of sort of transitioned that into Liverpool with his form. And we're seeing all that. We're seeing that fruitful sort of Diaz off the wing, working hard. In terms of that rhythm and fluidity, Grizz, with the Jota, with the Salah, with the Mane, even last season, the Jota, Mane, Salah, it wasn't in sync. They were much about themselves, individual moments. I don't think, if we're expecting the Bobby, Salah, Mane, I don't think we'll see that anymore. I think we're seeing three different players now.
This is my point. We don't necessarily, this goes back to my point about, or my rebuttal to Conroy about finding another Bobby. Maybe we need to find another Mane, or find another Diaz, or find another Jota, and not necessarily a player like Bobby, who absolutely intellectually, football intelligence-wise, and making others play better-wise, is probably the king in his time at Liverpool. But maybe we've evolved, and maybe because of the fact that we've got a fit Naby and Thiago in terms of our creativity coming from midfield, slightly different. We need to maybe change the style of forwards we have now. Yeah, so it is a conversation, and we can talk about this so long. There's one thing I wanted to address from Fahim again, which I totally, disagree. Like, he says Salah and Mane have been having this issue for years. Is this on Klopp for not addressing this? Salah and Mane have scored hundreds of goals for years. Address for what, Fahim? Like, what do you want them to address? We've been the most high-scoring team, won so many titles, been up for so many titles, won the Champions League, won the Premier League, got to Champions League finals. What do you want him to address exactly here?
Can I just make a previous point, guys?
Yeah.
Just on this about the Salah Mane thing, I do think that one Burnley incident has been blown out of proportion so much. Salah had a game where he just didn't pass it when he should have, right? And Mane, out of the hundreds of games they've had together, lost at one time. And people in the media have been holding on to that for dear life. They literally lost a final together, and Mane went up to him after the biggest moment in Mane's career internationally, and he went up to see if Salah was okay. I don't know if you need any more information to know the relationship. But just to add, do you remember Danny Sturridge, right? That's greedy. That's selfishness. That's like a straight pass and having a 40-yard shot. That's Danny Sturridge selfishness, right? That was selfishness. That was greediness. We're not at that with this front three. That's all I'm going to say to that, because Danny Sturridge would back himself 35 yards instead of playing someone in at times. That was annoying. That was frustrating.
And we must move on. We must move on, Avi. Look at this time. You hate 2-hour shows when you're not on.
No, I love them.
When you're
the stats. Just 1 second. I'll tell you why. Because the stats don't lie. Look, I don't care about whether they collaboratively play together and they score goals with 1-2s with another if they're not the next Messi, Suarez, Neymar. 27 goals for the season for Salah. Mane's got 14. Bobby's got 8. Mina's got 9 and 22. Jota's got 18. And Origi's chipped in as well. I mean, what do you want? There's not many more goals that they could have scored whether they were playing together,
Yeah, but this is it. You started this. Now you're contradicting yourself. Now you're saying you still want one of them gone, though, or two of them gone.
No, but we're talking about, because Grizz, age, contracts, there's a lot of things before I say I want them all gone. It's not that. People are talking about goals, or can they be collaboratively playing better as a trio. But I'm out saying those things might not happen again. We might not get that fluidity that we had of 2017-18 or 19-20 season.
Well, because you've started this chat, we've got a couple of super chats that are suggesting replacements already. So this is what happens when we talk about.
I'll give them a name at the end of the show. Okay.
Nerbeats Gaming Family, big up yourself. He says Felix replacement Bobby.
No.
I think Felix is a total different player from Bobby. I think Felix is a wonderful player, but he's not no Bobby. Bobby is strong. Bobby's very underrated in terms of strength and hold up play.
We need a lot of cash for Felix as well. A lot of cash.
LFC Aaron says thoughts on Wirtz and Diaby at Leverkusen. Again, I rate Diaby, but I don't think he's our level.
Wirtz, I think it's impressive. Wirtz impresses me.
Wirtz is a very, very good player. I know we've got interest in Wirtz. But go on, Avi, you was going to say something? Oh no, we must move on. Move on. We've been distracted by the front three, and we need to.
It's a return to Avi. It's always going to happen.
But I tell you why we needed to discuss the front three, because the way the game panned out was that we took the lead at halftime, and then usually we expect us to take control and get that killer second goal. It didn't get to that. We didn't get that second goal, Keith. And instead, so therefore, when we don't get the second goal, what we rely on is game management and some sort of control to see us out. What did you think of our game management in that second half? Was you comfortable with our game management and how we saw it out? Because we weren't going to score a second goal. It was quite evident. It was quite early. The cohesiveness or whatever, we've discussed it to death. Let's not go back there again. But then what happens is you rely on your midfield, keeper, and defense to make sure you get a shutout. Was you comfortable in that second half?
Yeah, I think, again, if I'd watched that game live, then I wouldn't have been comfortable, because, in that second half, I thought West Ham were beginning to find, that first time pass in behind our defense. I thought, they were starting to commit more runners. At first, it was Antonio by himself, but you notice that Fornell started to go forward a little bit more. Vlasic started to get a little bit more. There's an incident when we get caught from, I believe it's from a corner, and it's Naby and Robertson on the defense, and Naby tries to kind of go for the header, and it completely goes over him. And all of a sudden, you got a situation where,
Antonio, wasn't it through? Was it Antonio?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, through to Antonio, and then it drops to to Lanzini in the box. And the only reason Lanzini doesn't finish that, in my opinion, is because he's knackered, because he's had to do so much work in defensive phases of play in that match that when he finally actually is in the position where he's supposed to be in, he doesn't finish it off.
Let me finish, please.
Yeah, no, and obviously then, sorry, no, I'm mixing it up. Sorry, that's a separate chance. The one,
that's what I was
the one I'm talking about is Robertson gets the tackle and then Naby Keita eventually.
Antonio,
But there was a few times with that. It was interesting because I actually thought Fabinho, Keita, and Henderson in possession, I thought they were really sharp. I thought they were quite slick with it. I thought, they were quick with the passes. They weren't dilly-dallying on the ball. I thought they were moving it around really, really quickly. But we've got to accept one thing, and that is that West Ham are a top 5 football club this season. And when you play top 5 teams, you have to expect that they are going to take advantage of our high line. Our high line usually gets exposed in these situations, and that was what was happening. On the flip side of it, you could argue that Liverpool had a couple of chances to actually turn this around and actually get that second goal, but they never take it. So comfortable. I didn't feel like we gave the game completely to West Ham, and it kind of like momentum shifted. But I think we're always going to find games like this when we're 1-0. I think it's a testament to the mentality of these boys, is that we were talking about our boys going ahead and coming out with 2 points dropped, which was the story of the first half of the season.
Yes.
Now we're seeing games out in these situations by winning 1-0. And I think that in itself was almost like, by not scoring the second goal, we've given ourselves even more confidence because we were able to walk away winning the game 1-0. Clean sheet, it's a crucial goal, crucial 3 points in a high pressure situation. Because again, it's nervy at the moment at Anfield. It can only be anything but nervy when it's 1-0, because you could hear the West Ham fans singing in the second half if you were watching it on TV. You know it was getting a bit like squeaky bum time in that situation. So the fact that the players collectively were able to ride out such a situation is something that I think we should give massive credit for, and something that we really need to hone in on, because we seem to be doing this a lot since the turn of the year. Seeing out games, getting through situations, maybe even conceding in the Carling Cup in when Norwich turned the tide, but we're seeing these games out. And that for me is a big encouragement, because now I feel like we're in 18, 19, 19, 20 mentality mode, where we're making teams work so hard just to get chances, and when they get those chances, they don't necessarily believe that they're going to finish them.
I'm going to put the next 2 super chats together because, and actually I should have fired them at Keith and he would have answered them, but Keith's had his say now and he's had a sip of water, so I'm going to let Keith relax. Avi, I want you to take the next 2 super chats. Selection says, that second half was not comfortable. As I said, the team is rash. We need to learn to hold the ball better and make better decisions. And then he also follows that up and says, might be just me, but every team gets a chance to score against us, literally. I think we've been lucky at times with teams just not scoring. I want you to take those 2 super chats from your cousin.
Just the last bit. I think that's expected, though. Look, I think yesterday, the first half, I think we conceded 10 chances to West Ham in the first half, was it? The most this season that we've conceded. It was 10 chances. I think that's what the stat was at half time, that it was 10 chances that they had.
Can someone
not clear-cut chances, but chances that they create?
I'll check that.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Please, always when Avi comes out with any form of stat or anything, please double check it.
Since he got Diaz right though, mate, he's got like a year of credit in the bank, isn't he?
Trust me. Let's wait till the summer, Conroy. Just wait till the summer.
With you, he might not. With me, he hasn't. So
I'll get a lifetime of credit.
Watford 5-0 and Diaz. Avi's loving this year.
No, look, can we hold the ball better? Yes, and it will come back to the typical narrative that is, look, when Thiago is not there, we do lack that sense of control, intelligence, when we should have it with Fabinho, Hendo, and Naby. I thought that midfield 3 did well up until the 65th, 70th minute, Grizz, to be honest. And then I think the legs started to show. I thought Naby was the better performer yesterday out of the midfield. And in our team, I gave him personally the man of the match. That challenge on Antonio, I don't think Naby does that previously. I don't think Naby tracks back because we know that Naby
tries. I just don't think he may not have the energy.
He's got the legs. But we have been told, or we've found out recently, that they have been working on Naby's running style, because it isn't ideal. That's why he's picked up. from the plant-based to his running style. Yes, Chris.
Got
Yeah.
ya.
Andreas Schlumberger has been working with Naby, and look, it means that it's working because he has stayed fit. You know, he has got more minutes in the tank. He is running for longer. I thought he played well. The midfield yesterday, I thought we were taken aback by West Ham's approach, Chris. I thought West Ham were playing well up until when Bowen went off. I thought they were threatening. They had their fair share of chances. They were threatening. They were pushing bodies forward, which is unlike a Moyes team. You know, they weren't cautious or casual, just biding their time. They were trying to play football. Do we miss Thiago for these kind of games? Yes, we've missed Thiago for games like the Brighton's at home when we're 2-0 up, the Brentford's away when we're 3-2 up, you know, the Chelsea game when we're 2 up at Stamford Bridge. You know, we know that we've missed Thiago. Maybe in the summer, that's something that we need to look at, a more controller in that midfield who's got that little bit of presence, who can spray the ball and calm things down. Our front three at the moment, it seems even at 1-0, when it gets to the last 15-20, they want to be chasing that second goal. Sometimes we can just hang back, pass the ball around, you know, tar the opposition, because they're already sort of feeding it when they're playing against a controlled team like ourselves or Man City. You know, so we can buy that time. But again, Salah is that ascendancy to make up for previous mistakes during the game. He wants to get that second, so he's snatching at things. He's doing things that he usually wouldn't do if he's got that goal early on. So, you know, I thought it was nervy. It was 100% nervy, but I think that's Moyes' West Ham generally against us in recent times. I know we've, you know, touched upon it, that they can make it awkward with us. And this season it showed at the Olympic Stadium. And yesterday again, it could have been 1-1, Grizz. They could have won it too. They could have chucked that game off us.
Conrad,
It was 5 chances, now, so it was 5 on target.
5
and
chances.
5 on
13
target.
13 shots overall, which is, you know what, that's quite a lot to be fair when you think about that.
5 chances compared to 10. So he's
I think it was 10 overall.
No, overall. So
Game.
it's 13 shots overall. I think 13 shots and I think 5 on target. To be fair though, that's quite a. If you were looking back at games in the season, you would say that is one of the hardest matches we've got away with.
It is, Conrad. But looking back at the game, and I wanted to come to you on this. Looking back at the game when I saw it the second time round, from the 69th minute when they have that chance, we don't concede another real chance. There's a lot of breakaways and situations and possible chances to create a chance, but there isn't. So sometimes it's that time of season where we're more nervous than ever, because we know the margin of error is 0. If we drop points, it's over, kind of thing. And so therefore, as a fan base, I feel as though we get really edgy. When you look back at the game, you know, Konate, I want you to touch upon the performance of Konate. I want you to touch upon just the back four, what you thought of them. We'll leave Robbo out.
Might as well.
We'll leave Trent out as well, actually, because we don't need to speak on our fullbacks. Our fullbacks, Slaven Bilic addressed it brilliantly. I tweeted it, guys. If you follow me on Twitter, go check my tweet out about Slaven Bilic, how he spoke about us. And
good pundit, Bilic.
That should shut up a lot of people about how Trent is compared to people that play right wing back as opposed to in a flat back four. I want you to just touch upon Konate's performance, if you may, please, Conrad, how you thought he handled it overall. We spoke about his early start against Antonio. I thought by the end, he was king of the roost.
Interesting one, because it's not, I wouldn't say it was like a Rolls Royce performance. I feel like Antonio got the better of him a few times. And I would say before that point as well, Grizz, West Ham utilised the long ball a lot more in the second half, hence why the kind of the knockdowns from Antonio created their supporting midfielders in better positions. And the thing with that, it's kind of relates to Keith's point, is we get it. I'm not going to go in a high line again, but when you against people who are tactically astute, right, and have got players who can follow instructions to a T, this is going to happen, because even Brighton done it, and Brighton play the ball all the time, and they're like, no, Sanchez, just you do a diag to if Cucurella's making the movement, like they did at Anfield, and that will happen. But on Konate, I feel like up to that point, yes, Antonio, when he'll knock down, they're starting it, and he's still a young player, so you're going to learn from this experience. But I think you're right, from that point, the 69th, 70th minute, roughly about that point to the end of the game, I feel like by getting the clean sheet, he comes out in top. But at times, we do have the glasses on at times. I think, he's not the finished article. We need to stop saying he is, because it's not
There you
like he's
go.
not had certain
Yeah,
moments.
Selection Kanate was good, but he's really raw. Time to improve.
Positioning,
Absolutely, spot on.
positioning he was
Selection, that's your
better off as well.
best. That's your best super chat.
Keep them coming. Keep them
And
coming.
the thing with that, though, Grizz, this is the thing, we talk about this all the time with extremism in football. You're either terrible or amazing, and that does annoy me at times. So I feel like Konate, very good defender, and he's going to get to a ridiculous level, and he's had some performances that have been brilliant. I just think it's a balance, and that performance I think will get him in good stead as an experience, because Antonio, as we mentioned, has performed very well at Anfield in previous years. So I think for his Premier League career, that's a very good experience. And getting that clean sheet, as you said, we say for the squad, but for Konate, I think that'll give him even more confidence to, I can go in a performance where it isn't smooth sailing. It isn't a 5-0 at Old Trafford. It's a proper, slog's the wrong word, but there's a bit of a battle there. It's someone saying, I'm going to take you, I'm going to take you on, and this is it. This is how you need to be a top Premier League defender. And I think that's great for him. And I think you find that most players who come out to a top level, they all can't be Van Dijk. Will have that experience. Gomez had experiences like that as well. I feel where he had to kind of come out on top, and I feel like that was a great one for Konate. But overall, I think it will do them the world of good.
And one thing on Konate is, Grizz, it's great seeing like a young defender do, like we saw Rio as well as a young defender. He would be a little bit rash. He'd be eager, and we're seeing those things from Konate, and that will keep him in good stead. Like he's eager to make an impression. He's eager to step up and win the ball quite high up than the usual line of Robbo, Van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And we saw it yesterday as well. He was trying to win the ball, and sometimes it's just about pinging back, be a bit calm, and that will come with age. He's 22 years old, and bear in mind, this is probably one of the first seasons in 3-4 years where he's actually run the course of start to finish, because he has broken down at Leipzig previously in the season. So he's staying fit now, and he's learning more and more. And dread to think when he hits 25, like another 2-3 years, how he's going to be an absolute monstrous defender, absolute monstrous.
We often talk about sort of the perfect centre back, and we know it's Virgil, but a combination of can you imagine Matip's composure on the ball and passing ability and the physical attributes of Konate? I mean, when we don't have Matip, we see the calmness and composure that we're talking about. We may have lacking from our midfielders. It kind of just it's exemplified by our centre backs, like the way Virgil and Matip control the ball from the back. When we don't see that, but then when we have Konate in and we don't see Matip, we see the physical attributes that some strikers try to go on Matip and Trent's side, but realize they're not fucking getting anywhere with Konate. And not only Konate, I'm going to let you, Keith, very quickly have a say on Trent's defensive display, because we often talk about him going the other way. So not only Konate, in the end, I thought got the better of Antonio. In the end, obviously he had a few battles with him, but Trent's overall display as well.
Yeah. So one thing that I've noticed about Trent this season is to cut two things. First of all, he's not rash as he used to be. So, for example, when a situation is taking place in front of him, I always felt that Trent in the past would almost go in for the tackle, go in for the press, almost get taken and get run past, right? Or the shape of the back four would be such that Trent would always be the last one to keep somebody on side. This season, Trent's reading of the game from a defensive perspective has improved tenfold, right? You have to give him all the credit in the world, just like I give Robertson for the line. That line is a line of four, yeah. It's not necessarily a line of two. And he stays on that line with his centre backs to perfection. He keeps the line going, even when situations where we're going to get counter-attacked. He's patient with the decision that he makes. He doesn't make rash decisions as much as he does. And when he does get into situations where he needs to be there on the last man, where he needs to cover when the ball's coming through on the side, he's brilliant at that. Something I've always found that he's really good at covering the back post, right? When that ball comes in and Konate might miss it or Van Dijk might miss it, Trent's always there to clear it off. The clearance on the line, even though it was Trent's kind of mistake in the first instance, he shows the willingness as a defender to get back and clear that ball off the line. So from a defensive aspect, he's shown a lot of qualities this season that he's maturing And again, you know, Abby touches on age. You know, Trent's what, 23 years old? You know, like you're talking about a man who's never was a defender, has had to play right back in some of the biggest pressure situations in football, and is getting better at his duty in defending. Because we could talk about an age of what he does on the ball. And for me, yesterday, I thought it was one of his sharpest and his cleanest performances on the ball. But yeah, no, defensive line and the way he plays that, I think we're seeing the improvements take place before our eyes. And now he's becoming even more of an asset in the defensive phases of play.
Did you guys want to touch upon his defensive display? Because every week we seem to be talking about his assists and his attacking and everything. I thought defensively, we were supposed to put up the heat map, positional maps up. Shall we just quickly touch upon that? If one of you wants to bring that up, and
let's see if this works.
Yeah, it should work.
It should work.
See, it was quite interesting on that as well, Grizz, that Keith mentioned. That see the high line, and for the Fornals chance that Trent runs back. Now that I kind of mentioned that a month ago, that Jamie Carragher did say that sometimes we're so confident, and listen, the high line works amazingly, but if it's the flag doesn't go up, to chase the runner back and not just stand like a statue. And that's actually what Trent does. Like he keeps the line and then he continues, he tracks it back. And that is what Jamie Carragher mentioned a few weeks ago, is that sometimes it's like standing like a statue when it actually the play continues to follow it back. So I don't know if that's just Trent's decision making at a time, because I know Robbo done that recently as well. He just followed the line back. Or if that's Klopp has been telling him to, instead of when you're standing, but be ready to go. And ironically, like Keith would talk about the offside trap, but that's why they don't put the flag up even if they think it's close, because Trent's arguing like, oh, he's miles offside, he's onside, and that's the way football is going to continue with the use of VAR for that. And I just wonder if do you think there's any? I wanted to ask everyone, do you think that's Klopp's side of things who said that to track it even though when you hold the line? Or do you think that was just Trent in that individual moment?
For me, I think that was that individual moment where Trent had to track back. And there was one, was it the Ben Rama one when he gets pulled back?
Yes.
Yeah. In the second, and when he gets pulled back, right? And towards the end. So that, again, I think that's just his mindset, that to track back Conroy. And I think we've seen that during the season as well. Just to comment on Trent's defending, it's come leaps and bounds from last season. When he had that kick up the backside from the Southgate debacle of not picking him defensively, forget attack. We know what he's like going forward. He's absolutely a joy to watch. But I think attacking wise this season, defensively this season, he's been so much better. And I hope the stats back that up as well. He's 23, like he said, he's 23. He's not, and this is a kind of new territory for him. I know he's been in this position for the last 4 or 5 years, but he was predominantly a 6. In the academy, he was a 6. He was sitting in the heart of that midfield. It was Alex Inglethorpe who clearly identified very early on, because of his delivery, it would be better off coming from the right-hand side. And that's where Klopp and the teams, Buvac and who was at the club at the time, and Kravitz, they converted him into a right back. So it's credit to Trent himself, the intelligence that he shows, that look, I can play this line. And you know, we've seen him this season put in defensive masterclasses, let alone attacking masterclasses. He's put in defensive clinics during the season.
Selection says, really appreciate your support, bro. Jokes aside. Klopp tweaks how he used Trent. He doesn't hug the touchline as much anymore, mainly in the midfield. Sometimes as innate when he's spreading the play. His one touch, you can hear the coach sometimes say, switch. And he says it to Trent mainly because he knows he's got the ability to do it.
The golf wedge, the club set, yeah.
It's amazing how he finds Robertson with so much ease, and it's such an attacking weapon.
Effortless.
And we've got this average position of the players up on screen here. And Keith, I know you've got the cursor. So if we talk about our centre backs, like just 2 at the back, we're playing, aren't we? Literally, right? And then look at the average position of our fullbacks. Now we speak about.
What am I looking at, Grizz? I've never seen this. What is this?
You're just looking at average position of the players. Okay. Do you want to explain to him, Conroy, what that means, or shall we just move on?
we're on the orange. That's Liverpool, and then West Ham, as it says. So that's just the average positions where
all
we.
right.
What this means, Avi, is basically, so for example, that's the average position where they spent the most time on the pitch, each player.
Right. Got it. Okay.
You got it?
I got it
Okay.
now, yeah.
So what it shows basically, look, from we pretty much know our position of our players. What is interesting though from our players, just before we go into how West Ham tried to exploit that right side and overload always, was the position of 23, which is Diaz, Keith. Right? It's far more inverted than Sadio Mane when Sadio Mane plays that. It's far more making those inverted runs, and that's what Sadio used to do. Like when we first bought him, the unpredictability of coming inside, going outside. I thought that was something to notice, and also from West Ham's point of view, guys, Jared Bowen. I'm assuming Jared Bowen is number 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So Jared Bowen was their winger, and look how inside even Jared Bowen played, and he was their out-and-out winger, so to speak. The rest, as Saj said in the chat earlier on. Because a high line only got exposed when their midfielders making runs beyond the strikers. Brentford and Palace game showed this.
Spurs as well. Spurs with Dele Alli.
And what they showed is the number 10, 8, and 11. They not so much the 10 because that was very different the way they would normally have set up, because that would have been Declan Rice up against us. Instead, it was Lanzini who played more of a playmaker, more of a Xavi, more of a passer, a diminutive, far less physical player who got on the ball a lot. But the number 8 and 11, the amount of times they tried to get in behind Konate and Trent was so obvious. And that's where I thought we handled it much better than we actually thought live watching it. I thought going back when I watched it again, I thought we nullified them again. So many offsides. We caught them offside so many times. Granted, they got 2 or 3 chances, but again, like Conroy says, there are top 6 teams, or I think we all said there are top 6 teams. And the amount of technical footballers that they had in around that midfield this time round, they were going to create chances. So, and especially with the edginess of our attack, we didn't put them away. So, we got a bit, one of them chances you've got to remember was from a Virgil van Dijk back header.
Yep.
That was Virgil van Dijk's error as opposed to them creating. When it came to creating, I don't think they created as many chances as we think they did. But it was a good game. I don't think it was a perfect game defensively, of course, but I think it was a good game.
And sometimes you're going to have a bad day at the office. Sometimes we need to accept that as well. Sometimes you just can't be at it. As you say, Virgil makes that header that Rob wants to clean up with Bowen. I've not seen him do that. He doesn't do it very often. If Virgil's doing that, sometimes you just have to roll with the punches, and it's a bad day. You take the win and run. And I think that's, as Keith says, 18-19 form there, albeit most of those games you felt confident we wouldn't concede. But in that season, there's a few games where teams miss chances as well. I think sometimes you just need to roll with the punches. It's not everything can be perfect. This is football.
But look, we saw it out. Fucking saw it out. That's the
huge
main
one.
thing.
Huge one.
As I said, I think they did. I think they did trouble us at times, but overall, I don't think it was a defensive problems per se. I think it was the fact that mentally we hadn't put them away, which caused uneasiness. That's just my take on the game. I don't know if you guys want to add on that. Did you feel comfortable having in that second half in the end? Well, how did you feel at the end? 90 minutes up, we've got the 3 points.
Relieved, yeah. And Conroy says it perfectly. There's going to be games. There's going to be more moments like this going into the final few months where it's going to be tight. We're going to be relying on maybe a 90th minute winner, or it's going to be a tight game where we're struggling to carve out chances. Yesterday, I thought Grizz, they did have that chance. Trent clears it off. On the line, a little bit more composure from Lanzini. Maybe the presence of Alisson just put him off because Alisson's a big presence and a figure.
I think so. I think Alisson. Well, that's underrated about Alisson. We speak about quite a lot of things, but we don't talk about his intimidatory factor that he is when it comes to.
He's got that Schmeichel about him. Remember, Schmeichel was a massive, star jump, stance. Alisson's he's 6'3". He's a huge specimen. He loves his.
But he stays patient as well. We spoke about earlier about their keeper staying patient for when Mo Salah
Salah's chance. Yeah,
Alisson the same. Alisson stayed. He stays big as long as possible, and it puts defenders. Look how many Look how he dealt with the sort of Chelsea players running through. They didn't know where to put the ball in. They end up putting it wide or whatever. It is a very big factor.
It's one of those games that you just it's done and you move on to Inter and Brighton in the weekend. Like there will be more games in this, in maybe the FA Cup, the Champions League, in the league itself. With 12 games, with 11 games to go now, it's not going to be plain sailing 3-0, 3-0. There will be games like this going ahead. Maybe even next Saturday, Brighton away. That's not going to be any easy fixture.
Thankfully, they're not in great form, mate. Because
Yeah.
I feel like that probably helps us, and I'm not exaggerating, but we all rate Potter, and we've seen what they've done at Anfield, and I feel like that's one of them we probably have to be at it, definitely, because that at the Amex, that's going to be an interesting one.
I'm not looking forward to our next 2 league games. Call me, as Avi's been absolutely slaughtered.
We're football guys, Crystal. We rate football guys. We know good football teams. We rate them.
I've absolutely been slaughtered in our.
He gets negative, doesn't he?
No, I'm not negative. I'm just giving my opinion on the importance and on the. I'm just trying to stress the importance. I said if we come out of our next 2 away games, Brighton and Arsenal, with 6 points, then wow, that will really make Man City panic. In my
Palace
opinion.
away for City next Monday as well.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just looking at it from the Liverpool point of view. So our target is just to win our games.
I want to put it out there. The Arsenal game at the Emirates, right? I think it's got all the signs to be an absolute classic, like a 4-3, 4-4. I'm really going to go out there and say it. I think it could be like that 08-09 season.
It should be 4-0, mate, but we never take our chances at Emirates. That's the problem.
I think they'll be open, and I think they'll try to open up us up. And I want the front 4 fit as well. I want the Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Lacazette against our defense, and I want our top 3 against theirs.
Yeah.
So look, we're nearly coming up to 2 hours, and the chat's been fucking amazing.
Get
the link smash though. Get the link smash.
Fill him up.
It's full empty, mate. If that makes sense.
I've been passing Chris some of my milk, obviously, because I'm the half empty guy. So
we won. We went within 3 points of Man City. Man United, the shambles they are, totally what I expected. Some people had faith in Man United getting a result, or hope. I didn't. I said
they did start the game. The first half was decent, because you have to say that. I was even surprised with like that tactic working, having Pogba and Fernandes as the kind of 2 higher up.
Against City, you need pace to break that line. You need pace and aggressiveness. Pace mixed with aggressiveness. I don't think they had either. Lovely finish from Sancho. I get that.
There's a big chance as well at 43 minutes as well in the box as well. Listen, City would have won. I'm just saying they done okay for the first half, but then they gave up.
I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about us and focus on us. The next focus is obviously Inter Milan midweek. 2-0 up, Conroy. Adred asks, do we rest players against Inter?
No, if you're 2-0 up at half time, you wouldn't stop playing. You take Salah off. No, I get what you're saying. I think we're relaxing on that too much. Like, they score 1 goal, panic stations. Everyone's like, oh no. So no, you treat that like it is. We've got a big enough squad to do that. So I don't know. Take your pick. You could play Mane, Diaz, Salah. Salah wants to score as well for the Champions League. You could go for Jota, Diaz, Mane. I don't know if Bobby will be back. There's options, but thankfully, because of our depth, we can still go strong. But you have to still go strong. This is the Champions League. Famous game, Deportivo against AC Milan. That AC Milan team were unbelievable. Beat Deportivo 4-1 at San Siro, right? Deportivo at home. And I know the away goals rule and stuff, right? Yeah. But 1-3-0. I think Walter Pandiani plays for Deportivo.
Diego Tristan, right? It was a great performance.
That's Diego Tristan, sorry. Yeah.
1-0.
So all I'm saying is I know the away goals, but you can't relax. This is Champions League. Let's not act like, it's done. You need to, you can maybe have a choice, but for me, I still think you go strong.
It's a tough game because they just played on Friday. They won 5-0. Robin Gosens is back for them. He signed for Inter Milan, but he's back from injury. Brilliant wing back. I think he's one of the best out there, actually. And then Nicola Barella is back as well for the return leg.
No, he's not.
Are you sure he's suspended for both games? Was he?
Correct.
Oh, then okay. Then there's a little bit of a sense of calmness. But look, it's never easy. These games. They are on form. They're at the top of the league. They get an early goal. I know the away goal rules. Look, we will score, right? We just got to make sure that we're patient and we're not looking for it straight away. Like, it's just, look, we're two goals in the bag. We just got to be comfortable. We just got to be calm.
Treat
And
it as a
don't
normal
lose our
game.
heads.
Treat it as a normal game.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to win.
Oh
Just
yeah,
do that.
and we go full strength, Chris. There's no sentiment to rest and give him a chance or him a go. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the midfield. It'll be very interesting to see if he goes with the same three that played yesterday.
Well, let's not give all our ideas and opinions away. We've got a pre-match.
We've got a pre-match.
I just realised we've got a pre-match to do tomorrow.
Should we just fill that?
We'll just carry on.
Carry on.
Listen, let's just go to 12.
Listen, you
guys.
got me now. You might as well just
God.
you got me now.
Well, we may do if we reach 300 likes, we may do. But can we just keep smashing those likes, people? It's,
Come on, get us
really
through,
important
guys.
for us, man.
Free
It'd be amazing.
content. Come on.
That'll be serious ratio if we get 300 likes. I'm telling you now, I've done shows on a lot of channels and a lot of bigger channels of mine. But to get 300 likes from 300 viewing will be one of the best ratios ever. So let's make it happen on my channel. That's amazing.
72.67% ratio.
I'm not joking. I'm telling you guys, man. You know I'm experiencing this.
Grizz,
shit, man.
question for you.
Well, we didn't
Everyone's dying to ask
No, but we
you.
didn't get. No, but we will.
One question.
We didn't get Big K's opinion on the Inter Milan, man.
We'll go into that. But one question for you: is Thiago back?
Thiago situation.
Sorry.
What was Thiago's situation?
He said it was on maybe for West Ham, and then obviously Klopp came out.
Is he
and
back
said,
for?
Yeah, no, I think we won't risk him against Inter. I don't think we'll risk him against Inter. But God willing, inshallah, he'll be back for the next league game, which for me is far more important. Now I know Champions League is Champions League, but this league means the end of all. Keith, surely no resting, maybe a few rotational squad like what we discussed.
Yeah, I think if you want to look, Klopp's got this 11 at the moment. I think you go with it again. You know, I know Klopp has talked about rotation, but I think it's a great opportunity right now to have something of a settled team to get these boys. They've just won a very tight game. I think it would be great to get this 11 to play again, because actually I thought they complement each other very well. I'm quite impressed with the way that these guys, this 11 plays football together. One of the things that I think it will be the defining factor of this game will be the set pieces again. And actually, we could probably do a whole show on it, because in the summer, one of the things that I couldn't wait for was having a settled, normal team, because one of our best playmakers is back, and that playmaker is the set pieces. And I actually think that, you know, we score a hell of a lot of goals from set pieces. I think we can get a nice set piece goal against Inter Milan, just like we got the two in the other game. I think that's going to probably be one of the big strengths. I don't think we're going to blow them away, you know, and it's going to have to be a karma within the ground, because, you know, we are 2-0 up. But I think set pieces can define and see us through on this one. But can't rest anybody. And Klopp's never done that. I mean, even against FC Midtjylland, we remember, right? He still played Diogo Jota. We all know how that went, and that was a dead rubber. So Klopp is not a sentimental guy. He's not as cute as we all think he is.
And they've got Calhanoglu as well, so they've got a good set piece in about as well. Sorry, Calhanoglu. That's thanks. European correspondent.
No, we don't know. We don't know that. That's not confirmed.
No, it is No, he's Turkish. It's Calhanoglu. Grizz is Calhanoglu.
No, but what I'm saying is, when you've got that as well, it's very easy for Inter could get a goal from that avenue. Do you know what I mean? So we need to be, I think, strong.
I think we will be, and I think, my God, we can't make every game so tense, man. We got to just get a goal. I know it's the most obvious thing to say, but we get a goal and we just we can relax, because 3 goals, you know, come on.
Don't say that. Don't say it. If we score 3,
when it comes to tense, the only game that we're going to have that's probably not going to feel as tense as the next FA Cup match. Other than that, boy.
I don't know if DJ Spence, they were quite good against Leicester and Arsenal, so we'll see how that goes.
There is a couple of super chats I need to get through, apparently. Let me see.
There's a Rafinha one, Grizz, the selection.
Okay. Rafinha says, quick question. It's definitely Avi. Burner. Just a quick one. Yeah. Quick question. Rafinha, according to reports, has a release clause in his contract if Leeds United get relegated for 20 million. Would you take him? I wouldn't if Salah extends. Anthony the guy. Age is my only factor. Anthony of Ajax is one of the most techers footballers around in Europe, in my humble opinion. Full of bag of tricks. Reminds me of, bloody hell, where do we go with this? So many. Do you remember? You guys won't remember Xiaomina. Do you remember João Mina played for
Come on,
Deportivo?
Deportivo. Come on, man. Yes,
Deportivo, absolute baller.
That's
like,
twice we brought Deportivo up tonight. That's
Exactly.
a throwback.
Jalminia, Mario Silva, and that team as well. Brilliant.
But the reason why I mentioned João Mina was like very much like he already had a trick in his brain before the ball came to him.
True.
Like before the ball comes to me, I know what I'm going to do with this. Anthony is of that mold. He's of the old school Brazilian flair, skills, everything. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we'd go for someone like that on both flanks because Diaz brings that, and Diaz brings tenacity, effectiveness, hunger, desire,
Technician.
strength, everything. I don't know if we'd go for that on both flanks. I think we try to balance our attack where we want a killer on one of the flanks, and Mo Salah is the cold-blooded killer. Rafinha is more of a killer. Back to selection's point. I do believe he has a release clause in his contract. I do believe that. I just think the competition for his
Do you
signing.
not think that's a no-brainer, guys? Do you not think Rafinha is
It is a no-brainer, but
Nice.
again, will he want to come
He
to
could play as
Liverpool?
an 8 as well, Rafinha. I think Rafinha's like so versatile. Like
don't
I
know.
think that'd be a mistake not to go for.
Can I
Rafinha.
drop a name? Am I allowed to drop a name?
Well,
not?
feel free. Yeah, feel free. Go for it.
All those in the chat, 340, 350 of you guys, I would just keep a close eye on Amin Guri this summer. That's all I'm saying.
But Rafinha's Premier League
Let's just
proven,
keep-
like you know
let's
how
just
good
keep-
he is, though.
Let's just keep an eye on that in terms of his transfer and see what develops over the summer with Amin Guri.
We're nearly there with the 300 likes. Now we got to the fun bit about transfers and names, and Avi's dropping names, so we know what Avi's like when he drops names. So
Keith,
let's get
sorry,
to
you were
300.
saying something, Keith?
Go on.
Yeah, no. For me, when we're talking about the next big thing in our front three, and I can see a few people have started to etch to my summer. For me, it is Bukayo Saka. Saka is the man. If you want to talk about getting rid of Mane, you want to
How are
talk
you going
about
to get Saka? How are you going to get Saka?
Saka.
He's living in Cuckooland with his football manager again, Grizz.
If Arsenal don't finish that Champions, if Arsenal don't finish that Champions League spot, we're gonna have to start getting those English quotas up soon enough. That's all I'm saying.
See, my burner these what my burner thinks of that suggestion, Keith.
No, he didn't. No, it's not about that. No, he didn't. He's laughing at your suggestion. So, but
I think that's what you said before about Saka, because we had the no with you, and you said Liverpool put a big package together before he signed that contract. I just think Saka's pretty loyal. I think Martinelli's one that I think you've got a chance with, but I don't think Saka. I think Saka is Arsenal through and through.
Saka,
Martinelli, you might.
Saka, we made such a brilliant offer. Saka.
We
But
did.
it's just-
18 months ago, I think, wasn't it, Grizz?
Yeah, but this was before he signed his deal with Arsenal. We thought we got him. We nearly had him. His agent was up for it. Everything. He's just his love for Liverpool, his love for Arsenal, just made him sign that deal. But we really thought we had him, and that's how highly we think about him, Keith. So we do absolutely love Saka. And why wouldn't you?
Shout out to Kieran Ruby, who says Darwin Núñez has had a very good breakout season this season. Next year, Uruguayan star coming out of South America for them. He's had a very good season.
Appreciate that comment. I don't agree with that though. I think Darwin
Núñez. You're not on his trial, are you?
A couple of players that I would not want at Liverpool is that you would want. So Jonathan David.
First, just a quick one.
Just a quick one.
Just
an invention.
If we see links to Jonathan David, it doesn't inspire me. Jonathan David is.
Oh, Chris, you do not like David. I remember, was it Canada were playing? You're like, did David score?
Yeah, Jonathan David and Darwin Núñez again. This is a very good one. For my personal choice, if Bobby or Mane were to leave, I think one of them may leave. If they were meant to leave and we had to get in someone, or we bring in someone, Nkunku of Leipzig would be my first choice, I think.
You're a fan of Guri though, Grizz?
Oh, yeah. Fan of Guri. Yeah, fan of Guri, but Nkunku would be my first.
It's going to be interesting summer, isn't it? Because with Diaz obviously coming in early, it's going to be interesting.
Did I say Jonathan?
No, you said Jonathan David. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Not Bailey. I didn't say Bailey. Come on, Klopp sipping Arsenal tears.
He's not talking about Donovan Bailey, is he?
Yeah.
No, I talking about Leon Bailey's, at Villa. I don't know.
We're not getting selection says we're not getting Saka and Nkunku. Bellingham will fill that quarter.
This guy, man. Stop it. He's getting embarrassing now. Selection, please.
Chat's been brilliant tonight, though. Chat's so good as always. Brilliant.
Just the last one, Grizz. Who can be a genie at LFC by next season? So I think he means. What does he mean? Stylistically, or
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a lot of what
Curtis Jones, hey Keith, we've spoken about it.
I think so. I think he's developing into that form. You know, I think Naby Keita even has been he's been a lot more physical. He's been a lot more durable, involved in the second ball, because that's what I think one of Ginny's biggest strengths was, is that he could like probably fucking hold a dam of like 10 players behind him and not have him.
Curtis is strong.
Was it just me? Was it just me? Was it just me or anyone who wants to come in? The FA Cup game, the first half against Norwich, did Jones look quick?
Yes.
He looked deceptively quick with the ball and off the ball on Wednesday. He already did look as if he's gone up a notch in terms of his speed.
What have they got? Elliot got a sprint coach, didn't he?
It's the same one that's done work with Jota.
So maybe there's a link there as well, because obviously Jones is a young player. So
guys, we're nearly there. We're going to stay on stream until we get that 300 now. Come on, let's do this. Nearly there. This is a record for us. That'd be amazing.
Chris, if there was one player in the summer that you'll ideally, realistically think that could come to Liverpool, who would it be?
What kind of realistically we know we need a midfielder, right? So realistically, I would my first choice. No, it's not Jude.
Tchouaméni, sorry,
yeah, Tchouaméni. By the way, can we correct him, because you wasn't on the channel when we had an expert correct us? It's Tchouaméni.
Got it.
Yeah, Tchouaméni. Guys, why is Avi? What have you done to the settings where I put and then it covers their faces? What's going on?
It's because we've not got the banner up. It's just our...
Okay. Well, Keith, I'll read it out for you. I guess. Then. Or you've read it out. It says, Keith, thoughts on room? No, you read it out. Fuck's sake.
Thoughts on WrestleMania. Is Cody a free agent now, Keith?
Yeah, he is. He left AEW. Yeah, Keith. Thoughts on rumors that The Rock, the most electrifying man in all entertainment, and Cody Rhodes could return at WrestleMania, potentially Rock versus Roman at Mania 39 in Hollywood, where there will be a passing of the torch from Rock to Roman. Absolutely. I think it's time to bring back Hollywood Rock. I can see him coming in. I can see him laying the rock bottom on Roman, and then he will disappear, make 3 or 4 movies, get some insurance, and then he'll come back for Hollywood. Absolutely. As for Cody Rhodes, I think he will take over as the new owner of the recently bought Ring of Honor.
There you go.
Do you like that Scottish wrestler, Keith?
Drew McIntyre. Yeah, he's a legend.
He's done really well.
It's fake, Conroy. Please, it's not real fighting, is it? Come on, a few
suplexes.
You think it's real?
No, but I'm saying what he's done to go from Scotland, like to doing like the kind of the fan wrestling here to being in WWE is quite.
It's very highly thought of. Yeah.
Well, you got another one. You got Dewdrop. Don't sleep on Dewdrop.
Oh, there you
go. Shut up now.
Sorry.
Dewdrop. And what are you talking about even?
I'll let you do this chat. Can I say something after that, Grizz? Because I know we're going to get 300 likes. I need to say something to Grizz. But no, I'll let you do that in the chat first.
Boys, his name is Tony. He's the sprint coach. He coaches Phil Fold, and his nickname is Madness. Thank you very much for that, Paul. Absolutely.
This CR chat, unbelievable. The guys
amazing. We've got some amazing intelligence and insight in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Are we doing man of the matches today?
Some would say more than Avi, but sorry, what was you going to say, Conroy?
Well, we'll do the man of the matches, and I'll do that at the end. Then I think the players of the match, she said first.
Tough one. Go on. Who wants to start?
I want to go with Naby. I thought he had a good game, steady game, and he was good. And that ditch tackle, I know Robbo did the majority of the hard work, but Naby clears it.
No, it's still a good tackle, mate. Antonio's powerful.
I just said that to make sure that you were happy, Conroy. But Naby for me.
No, that was Naby. Outstanding.
I just wanted to say, guys, when Naby made that tackle, guess who was covering the other forward that was making the supporting run for West Ham to make it an easy pass, which didn't make it an easy pass for a tap-in?
Salah.
Incorrect.
Trent.
Incorrect.
Mane.
Incorrect.
Jones. I can't remember.
Diaz.
Well, it was a few. He's had a few.
By that point, I was emotionally drained, guys. I don't know. Again, where we were.
That was Diaz. Oh, I think Keith cheated and read the chat. Oh, fuck's sake. I thought you actually watched the game and concentrated.
Keith has double-crossed us.
Save those strategies for our draft. The draft. Save those strategies for the draft, right?
But that was Luiz Diaz, man, making that run. It just shows you
animal,
absolute animal. But look, Avi, I didn't enjoy your Sadio Mane slander today. I think people will let you know on social media as well that you've decided to sell Sadio Mane just because Luiz Diaz is in through the door.
No,
Apart from that, man of the match, Keith.
Yeah, gonna go with Trent Alexander-Arnold on that one. Yeah, I thought so slick. His passing was incredible. You talk about that switch, the one where he done first time to Robertson. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like
time and time again.
It's just
unbelievable. And obviously with the assist as well, I thought the assist was brilliant.
Robbo goes, that was a miss-hit shot in the interview after. He went,
that's funny. They have the most best like camaraderie between each other.
But no, I just thought, his passing was immaculate. His defending was brilliant. I think, when we get Trent in that type of form, we're scoring at least one.
6 more likes, people.
Come on.
Record breaking. 6 more likes. Let's do this.
Come on, lads.
Did you guys see Trent and Robbo in the Carling Cup final after the penalties? They were just sat down on the pitch, just
shattered, mate. Shattered.
They were just soaking it all in.
His life, he's not done 120 minutes. They're knackered. That's why.
It was a brilliant moment, though. The best 2 fullbacks in world football, bar none, just sitting down, just talking like ran. It was just a special moment for me, just seeing that. That was the moment as well.
What's the word we use, Conroy? That we're so used to.
What is desensitized, normalized, desensitized?
That's it, absolutely. It's unbelievable. Go on, Conroy.
Can I add, right? So mine's is Trent, obviously. Listen, I think ultimately a man of the match is the goal, the clearance off the line and the assist, which is great movement by Mane. And it's just Trent. And Keith, you smashed it there in what you said about him. I'm not going to add too much to that. There's just something I may have mentioned it before. Now, it was a YouTube thing. It might not be the type of stuff you were into, guys, but it was I think it was like, it's either F2 freestylers or it was like Chris MD. It was something like that. And they were doing like, like the Maradona 10, keep you uppies and stuff like step overs and skill like that. And then Trent, they said, oh, can you do anything like that? He says, no, not really. I'm not really interested in that. But then he was just like pinging half volleys top corner and smashing them off the bar. And he was like, he just said, no, this is my game. That's what I'm great at. And to me, I love that because sometimes I think people think that if you can do, like, there's obviously Ronaldinho's out of this world, but if you're so great at something, why do you need to do a step over? Like, if he can ping a ball like that. So I think he had it like on the, he have it on the cone and he was just like pinging it on a half volley. I think it was the F2 freestylers this chat came from. And I just thought to myself, like, that just, if you see his range of passing and you're a young player and you want to develop, he's just literally practiced that ability constantly, just hitting a ball like that, and he's perfected it.
But you can also see that he grew up watching the one and only Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see
he's always changing his passing as well, Grizz. Like he's trying different things, like the outside of the foot. But at times,
that one that he did. Yeah, that cross that he did with the outside of the boot where he bent it in.
Yeah. The one against the World Cup, you know how he passes it softly in for Firmino. Like he's always evolving and trying stuff to catch people out because I feel like he knows people study him and he's trying new stuff. Just honestly, I do think we should probably have a special show just for Trent. Maybe had Robbo in as well. For a little bit, just a little bit of sugar on the top. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Conroy, have you watched Batman?
Watched it last night, Antio. Watched it last night, mate. Watched it last night. 10 out of 10. For me, I gave it 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. Fair play to Pattinson. Like, he done a good job. I think, like, it was always going to be for that style, but he was really good. I've got to be honest, though, Paul Dano, Zoe Kravitz, they're all very good.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight is, like, elite levels for me. And it was great, but it's just The Dark Knight is still the GOAT for me. However, it was a very, very good one.
Pattinson, just coming on that, because I've seen the film as well, I saw it on Friday. He does a great job as Batman. He's not as good as Bale as Bruce Wayne.
I think The Dark Knight's one of them.
No spoilers,
you watch it. Yeah, no, but just the Dark Knight is like, it's both really good, different. Go and see it. It's a 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Really good. Like it was, and also see that who's Falcone. John Tudor, brilliant in it as well. Superb.
You Never Walk Alone 4L is asking
Shall I pronounce his name?
No. Please. No.
Pedro Gonçalves.
No, I said.
Gonçalves.
I'm just going to fucking mute you. Right. What I was going to say, we will have many shows where we discuss.
We should do a show in Sun random though, Grizz. Like, see how the people are talking about movies. We should do something like that where it's just like Something in the summer, something random like that. We should do something like that.
We will 100%. You know, you guys can do it.
Yeah, you know, you
Yeah.
can just, we'll put you on. You can log
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
just
yeah.
unmute
Just make that
yourself.
clear.
and stuff.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
make that clear. You, Avi, and Keith and Evan can do something random where you don't want to talk about. But this has been the Redfellas on your Sunday night stroke midnight soon. We started off nice and early, but we've gone over 2 hours, which is a record. We've hit our record amount of likes per listeners record. The ratio is near enough 100% now, Avi, or you know, close to 100%.
97.64, yeah.
He just makes that end bit up, and you lot fall for it every single time. But it's
Keep stoned to that. What?
Oh man, you are good.
but it's brilliant. Listen, it's brilliant. It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed chatting to you guys. It's always a pleasure. Avi, go on. You want to say something?
Just quite quick.
Yeah.
Just a quick one.
Just because I've been missing for a few weeks. Just wanted to this week, sad news. Shane Warne, a young fan growing up in the 90s and the 21st century, the early 2000s. Shane Warne was one of my big cricketing idols. One of the best sort of leg spinners, but one of the best, arguably the greatest bowler of all time. So, it's prayers and thoughts with his family and stuff, and the thing that's going on out in Ukraine. Prayers and thoughts with the families as well.
No, absolutely.
And that's it. And it's good to be back.
No, we done all that. We did do that, but Avi wasn't here, so we did give our condolences and
Respect.
Omar, of course, Young Bucks, the leader of the Young Bucks, says Grizz the Riddler, Avi the Joker, Keith Bain, Conroy Robin. Does that make sense to you guys? I mean, I don't know.
Evan as Batman. Yeah, that makes sense.
Evan as Batman.
Yeah, I would definitely be the Joker.
Yeah,
That's not
Chris
bad.
O'Donnell,
The Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, no, I
Jack
can see
Nicholson.
that. What about you, Barry Coogan is going to be? Well, I better not say that, but you know that.
Keith, are you okay with Bain?
I was born in the lights.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. And what's Riddler?
Riddler, Grizz. He's one of the
Jim
characters.
Carrey.
well.
Jim Carrey is
Jim
the Riddler,
Carrey,
the
yeah.
old one.
Then about
Paul
like-
Actually,
Gable.
I don't know if Grizz would suit the Riddler though. He's more of a Bane as well for me, Grizz.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Don't know.
Actually, Grizz could be Alfred. Grizz could be Alfred because of the age and stuff as well. So he could be Alfred. Batman's
The
Batman.
Riddler's good at puzzles, Grizz. That's he
Yeah.
basically sets contraptions and puzzles, and you've got to figure it out.
Conroy,
Jim
you
Carrey
okay
was the
with
big
Robin?
I'll take that. I think that was Chris O'Donnell and the George Clooney.
You're joking.
Right, I'll
Absolutely.
get happy with
Joel
that.
Schumacher, wasn't it? Joel Schumacher there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bit of a crazy
Holmes, you've
film.
done
but I'll
well.
take it.
Holmes, by all accounts, you've done well with those
Well done.
comparisons. Yeah, that's not bad. Apparently, what's
And
Omar?
then
then?
Keith came in
Omar
with
could be
impressions,
Flash.
so-
Omar could be Flash.
Okay, Holmes is Flash. There you go.
Young
Holmes, you're
Flash.
Flash.
Barry Allen.
You're Flash. But guys, come on, man. Let me sleep, man. I've got.
I know.
I've got 90 minutes in the morning. Got to get up for them. We've got to deal with speak about Man United. My God,
I'm sure you're going to hate do that. I think that'll be quite a good time for you in the morning, Chris.
my God, Man United. I mean, what a fucking shambles! Absolute shambles. I just hope we smash them to bits when they come to Anfield. But
We should.
let's hope we win every single game. We've got 11 absolute monster league finals. We've got the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We have potentially a game that leads us to the quarterfinals to the Champions League. It's chaos. This could
Forest
be
or Huddersfield, yeah. Have I got that wrong?
Yeah,
Forest
no,
is
No,
tomorrow
I said
night.
Norwich for the sake of it.
No, but I think someone said that's tomorrow night, but the winner plays us. I think it'll be Forest who win. I could be wrong.
I think Huddersfield, because they're flying at the moment. I think
Second in the
Huddersfield are playing. I think Huddersfield will win, and it won't be as easy as many people.
Is it
have
at
made
Forest, Chris, or is it at Huddersfield?
that. It's-
It's at the City Ground, Forest.
Be a good game.
Oh, just one last thing. If we get Huddersfield, I've got exclusive bonus video footage of a current Huddersfield player celebrating a wonder goal with me on the pitch in 7-a-side. So if it's Huddersfield,
interesting.
Sorab Thomas, his name is, and I'll have the video content if we get him.
Keep maps. This, I mean,
Yeah,
guys, Grizzcan TV. We're going global at this rate. This is outstanding.
We are global. We are global.
You know, we are. No, of course, but we're, it's unbelievable.
Nearly still 300 of you in the chat. Coming up to midnight. Tremendous show. People in the chat, like, subscribe, tell your friends, share. Go and follow all the other guys on their socials. Give them abuse, give them hell, or even sometimes compliment them. This has been Redfellas. We have been sponsored by www.elitemeat.com. Go on their website, check out their products, bath bombs, creams, CBD oils, vapes. Everyone's in on vapes these days. You type in LFC 15, you get 15% discount. What more do you fucking want? This has been nuts. This has been Redfellas. We out of here. Take care.